Wondery Plus subscribers can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free right now. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Hello and welcome to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Yay indeed, Jimmie. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us again and again on Crime and Sports. This is one of those certain episodes I get like my spidey sense tingles, and I'm usually right, or like I know ahead of time, I'm like, this is going to be kind of a classic. I feel like that people will be referencing and going, oh, you know, what was a good one? That one. When they say, I have someone new I want to introduce to the podcast, what episode should I listen to? And there's a whole, I feel like this is going to be in that realm just based on, it's just insane. So we'll get into that in a second. Very quickly, though, give us a review on whatever you listen. I don't know what app you're listening on, but whatever you listen on, 5 stars, 10 stars, 80 stars, 100 stars, 400 stars, however many stars, and whatever. Do the thing, say something. I don't know. It helps. I don't fucking know what to do anymore. Either that. Also, patreon.com/crime and sports. You want to be there this week. We have quite the spectacle for you this week. First of all, we are going to talk about, I've been wanting to talk about this on a bonus for a long time. We are going to talk about the XFL on the Crime and Sports bonus, which is for the first iteration of the XFL when it was really a fun mess. We're going to talk about that first. So you're going to get lots of Vince McMahon, obviously, and his edicts to everybody. That'll be a lot of fun. And then for the small town murder episode, which you will have access to, because if you're a patron at patreon.com/crime and sports, not only are you going to get 2 new episodes every other week of everything, you're going to get access to all the episodes for both shows, the whole back catalog, everything like that. And for Small Town Murders this week, we've been waiting a good 9 months here for this. A new Love After Lockup season review.
Oh, yes.
Since the last season of Love After Lockup just ended, now they're starting with Life After Lockup, and they've kind of switched some of the people out. We're going to talk about those episodes because it's really the best season they've had so far.
And I was frustrated because this is the first season that I've gotten before it was done.
Oh, so
I had to wait week by week, and it was driving me fucking insane because it was so good. I wanted it brand new, and I wanted to get all of it. Why do they do that to us? Wait till it's all done on their fucking Wii channel.
We can't do it.
And then put it up for us to buy it.
You're paying for it on Prime.
Yeah,
I get them ahead of time. If you're watching on Wii for free, then you can wait every week. But if I'm going to pay $15, give me all of them now, you assholes.
Give me all of it.
So anyway, there's Love After Lockup. We're going to talk about that. We honestly can't wait. Find out why Jimmie cracks up every time I say, do me. Find out why that makes Jimmie laugh every time.
And she's such a pickle.
Why she is, and she's in one too. Find out, because she can't get one. Find out also why somebody would have a special casket made for a sex toy. And then have like a Native Alaskan send-off into the river. It's very strange.
His friend hand-made it, James. They're welders, and he fucking welded that together.
Find out about all of this on patreon.com/crime and sports. It's so much fun. And since you are a producer, you're going to get a shout-out at the end of the show. Yeah. Jimmie will mispronounce your name while trying hard to get it right, which is funny.
Give it hell.
You can hear him struggle to listen to that, to say it right. And then also go over to shutupandgivememurder.com, where you can get your tickets. First of all, your tickets to live shows are everywhere. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be at those live shows. And also, you'll get the virtual live show. You can get tickets to Small Town Murder virtual live show September 16th. It's available for 72 hours after that. We're gonna throw down hard on that.
A little over 2 weeks.
It's you got to get your tickets for that now or whenever. But get your tickets for that and come see us or from your house, from wherever. I don't give a shit where you are. Go to a park and look at it on your laptop. I don't know.
There.
Yeah, pop out your iPad when you're at the grocery store and watch it. I don't care where you watch it, but watch it. Have fun, do that, and also get all your merchandise and everything like that. So that said, let's get into this, Jimmie, because we got.
Oh boy, I can't wait.
We have a lot of show for you, and it's wild, and it's so much. It's an NFL player, first of all, so brain damage sports. It's a guy who played for years and years, and who many football fans who watched football from this era, all of them will remember. It's Irving Fryar.
Oh,
and,
yes.
He is one of those guys where you'll hear his name and go, did he do something wrong? Like, I don't remember that. You know what I mean? You just remember him always being in the league on one team or another, and just,
Very good.
And a good receiver. But
what a receiver.
Did he have quite the eventful career in life here. Let's get right into it. Irving Dale Fryar.
Dale.
Irving Dale. And it's funny because we'll get into it, but his parents wanted a girl, and they didn't get a girl, so they named him Irving.
And Dale could be a girl's name. That's possible.
Irving
Dale sounds like a nice place in Southern California.
I was going to say it sounds like it's like by Palm Beach in Florida.
Yeah.
Like I live out. Do you live in West Palm? Irvingdale, right on the outside. It's on the outskirts over there. So
palm trees and sand all nearby.
You know how it is. Date of birth here for him: September 28th, 1962. He's getting a little bit older now. He's born in Mount Holly, New Jersey, and grows up in Mount Holly.
Take it easy, man. He's 2 years younger than my mom.
Well, there you go. Yeah, your mom. That should tell you your mom's getting up there.
James says you're old.
She had you. No, I'm saying you're old. So how the fuck would your mom not be old? We're old. Our parents have to be older than us. So I mean, they're getting older. So. He is from Mount Holly, New Jersey, which is kind of outside of Philadelphia in that region of New Jersey. And we'll get into how he came up there. And he's had some interesting. He's one of these kids who was kind of known as like a knucklehead, and then he found sports and became less of a knucklehead and concentrated on sports. Yeah, and then he said, "Well, I mean, now that I have money, I can fuck around again." Obviously, he has two sisters. And they're older than him. He's the youngest. Two sisters are Faith and Hope.
Oh, God, that.
They are, how do I say this, Jimmie? Very religious.
Yeah.
Very religious. Their names are Faith and Hope. He was supposed to be daughter number 3, named Charity. That was the plan.
He was going to be the slut of the family.
That was it. Yeah, Charity's always.
She's always giving that charity, man.
It's not as bad as Chastity, though. Jesus Christ.
True.
Chastity is going to, my God.
Hope and faith. His parents had hope and faith they wouldn't turn out to be strippers.
That's the thing. Chastity, though, in like the 11th grade, you have to get her like a punch card at the abortion clinic is the problem. That's if you got a Chastity, because you're like, listen, sweetheart, you're making it out of high school without having at least more than 2 kids anyway. So every girl I knew named Chastity anyway. That seems to be the way
I knew a girl named Chastity, a girl named Charity. Both of them were very kind.
Very kind. And that's the thing. We're not sniping.
No.
We're very thankful, but we understand.
They hammered the whole crew, man. It was great.
And it makes it less great now that you know why that you're older. You're like, oh,
yeah,
something bad probably happened.
Charity, and then Bevan.
Oh no,
Bevan was very kind also.
Good to know. So yeah, and like in case you're looking for some 40-year-old girl around North Phoenix, look for that name, and apparently you're in for a good time, everybody. Hey,
bring your whole crew. They like you.
Did you go to fucking, where the hell did you go? Did you go to Shadow Mountain?
I did.
Yeah, there you go. Did you go to Shadow Mountain? Yeah. What's your name? Oh, hang out later. So
here is my number.
She ended up calling him Irving rather than Charity, and he said that he hated Irving because it's not a name. Irving doesn't sound like a cool guy.
No.
If you're coming up because you're a kid, like a teenager in the mid-'70s in kind of an urban New Jersey area, you're Irving. That's not going to work. So it doesn't work at all. He says, quote, "Sometimes I think my mother named me that because she was mad at me for not being a girl." That's his take on it. Yeah.
Or she's setting you up to be the coolest 60-year-old on the planet.
Maybe. He said, though, the kids would fucking make fun of him. They'd call him Irving all the time. Irving. They'd call him like he was, because they thought it was a Jewish name, so they'd call him Irving. The kids would make fun of him. He said like he was an 8-year-old black rabbi. That's what he said. They'd call me Irving like I was an 8-year-old black rabbi. Was his fucking
fantastic,
which is just hilarious. Or they would really Irving. They would tell him shit like that. They'd call him a nerd. They'd tell him it was time to go home and practice the cello. Irving,
wow,
because that was considered nerdy. You know, so
hard on him.
Yeah, it's fucking New Jersey. Go hard on you now, and there's not bullying means like not beating a kid within an inch of their life. You still call them like, you know, gay slurs and stuff like that, I'm sure. Right. If you go to New Jersey and go to like a middle school out cafeteria, I guarantee you there's things that you would get thrown off of Twitter for saying, flying around like nobody's fucking business, just left and right.
That's clever for a 12-year-old, though. What, are you going to go play the cello, Irving?
Irving, yeah.
The cello?
The cello. He said it really...
Deep dive. I like it.
It made him have to learn how to fight, because otherwise he'd just constantly get picked on. And he's not a huge guy, Irving, but he's very strong and very athletic. He's only 6 foot tall later on, but he's an athletic kid, obviously.
Yeah, he could jump like a bastard. Yeah, boy, was he fast.
Runs a 4.40 and shit like that. He's pretty, fast. So he said that he never thought he'd be a football player ever. Mm-hmm. Never thought about it as a kid. He said, quote, when I was about 7, I wanted to be a baseball player. So that was his main goal, was to be a baseball player. But he wasn't allowed to play Pop Warner football because his mother would not allow him to play football. Forbade it.
Sign the slip. Yeah.
Little Irving will not play football. So that's the other thing.
Cello.
Yeah. Little Irving, get your cello. And he's like, but I want to play football. And they're like, little Irving's mother won't let him play football. He's only allowed to play the cello. Wow, little Irving. Hey, Irving.
You named me Irving. Can you at least let me do something?
Hey, Irving, you going to circumcise my kid or what? Let's go. Bring your cello.
Brutal, man.
So his mother said that, he never wanted her to play football. It was him to play football. It was her only son, and she wasn't into it. She said, quote, I didn't want him to get hurt. His mom's name is Eileen, by the way, or Aileen, okay. Aileen.
That's Aileen.
Aileen. I didn't want him to get hurt, she said. I wanted him to concentrate on his piano lessons instead. He plays and sings real well, That's what she said.
Why don't you go get your cello? I play the piano, thank you so much.
We can't tell you to go get that, though, you fucking moron. It's too big. So he said, get your cello. It's easier to pick on you if it's a cello. Everybody, Irving plays cello. There. You play cello now because we said so. That's what New Jersey
strings,
is.
Motherfucker.
Now you play cello. Fuck you. That's what's growing up in the Northeast is like. What do you think of that?
Poor bastard.
With tons of gay slurs thrown in there.
Yeah.
So that's the Northeast. Anyway, he said that he was, he wanted to play football. His dad, on the other hand, his dad's name is David. His dad is a traveling choir singer who goes around and revival singing gospel shit. Traveling gospel singer, basically. He calls him a classic Christian hypocrite. Though he said he'd go around traveling in these gospel bands, but giving into what was called, quote, deviltry on the road. Deviltry.
He's smoking weed, huh?
He's probably not deviltry. Deviltry. Oh. Like one word. Deviltry.
Oh, got it.
Like he's out banging and drinking.
Doing all kinds of shit. Yeah.
He sings for Jesus. He's like, Lord, come get me. How you doing, sweetheart, baby? After the show, we all going to meet. Lord, come get me. And, we're going to be at the, what's that place called? The Black. Lord, come get me. We're going to be at the Black Hole, it's called. Be there, meet me there later on. And, Lord, come get me.
Room 112 at the fucking, the Holiday Inn.
Yeah.
The players dwell, you know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying. It just made me think of Charlie from Always Sunny. I thought two things. It made me think of Charlie saying, I got the good Lord going down on me, which is fucking hilarious. And then it also made me think of the beginning of Amen. I just wanted to see Sherman Hemsley dancing around, jumping, doing double dutch, and then giving high fives and shit as he goes in the church.
The good Lord going down on me.
I got the good Lord going down on me. Charlie, what are you talking about?
What does that even mean, Charlie?
Yeah, what are you talking about? Going down on you, Charlie?
That only means Jesus is blowing you. That means nothing else.
That's hilarious. So now his dad was the son of sharecroppers in North Carolina.
Okay.
So his dad came up hard.
He knows,
maybe if you can get out on the road and do some drinking and party and you're like, whew, I grew up sharecropping, so fuck that. I'll do that. They said basically the dad lived with the family, but not all the time. He'd come and go. Like, he'd be there for a while, disappear for a while, come on back, all the time. They said when he did come home, he worked at a pipe foundry, and then at night he would. They owned a dry cleaning business also. So I'm Sherman Hemsley's written all over this fucking thing. He's
busy.
He's got the Jefferson Cleaners. Mm-hmm. He's making it work. So yeah, he works at a foundry. He travels with the gospel, and then he has a family-owned dry cleaning business that he delivers shit for at night. So, like industrial stuff, drop off the tablecloths and the napkins at the restaurants and shit like that. His father, they did say, he sounds like a hardworking guy, but he said he was usually drunk or mad or both, is the way Irving put it.
Well, yeah.
Like all the time.
You drink to escape the madness, and you're mad because no matter how drunk you can't get drunk enough to forget.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially, too, you're working your ass off, too, and things like that. But that's fine, and we would understand, having a bad attitude. But also, he said that Irving would have to separate his mom and dad as his dad would hit his mom. That was the thing, though. That's
son of a bitch.
Yeah, he didn't just get drunk and mad and go sit out in the shed for a while and fucking swear under his breath and make fishing flies. He beat the shit out of the mother, which was a problem. And Irving did not like that at all. And he said he would get a split lip for his troubles too. His dad would knock him on his ass for trying to get in the middle of the whole thing. He said, and this is sad, but so true. If you're a kid, what do you know? He said, quote, "I thought that's how all families were. I never thought anything was wrong with mine."
Right.
He just thought that's what people do. I guess dad comes home drunk and hits mom, and then you get in the middle, he hits you, and then you go in your room, and fucking next day's a new day. I don't know. If you don't know any better.
That's the worst sleep in the world, though.
It's a terrible.
It's so bad. Your stomach hurts, and
there's nothing good about that.
Why? Yeah.
No, when you're a kid too, you're just and you think it's just normal. Well, I guess this is what everybody goes through, and
awful.
Why does it suck to be a kid? Why does it suck? I can't wait till I'm 18 and I'm getting out of here, and that's why kids do that shit. He found to get out of the house, he ended up finding the street to get out of the house, because it's an easy escape, and it's you're not having to get between your mom and dad fighting or anything like that. You got your own friends. He had a crew of friends here. All have nicknames, by the way. I love some 70s nicknames. Some 70s Jersey Jive nicknames are the shit. This is great. He was named Swift. That was his nickname.
Much better than Irving.
Yeah. They said he could basically he'd beat people's ass. They said he had huge hands. They said he had cartoon hands, which helps for catching passes in the NFL. So he's got big old hands and big old fists, and they said real quick feet, and he was quick to wield a baseball bat and shit like that. So people knew not to fuck with Irving. There was no shootings going on or anything like that. This is the put up your dukes or get a bat or maybe a knife at the most back in the 70s and in this area anyway. His buddies, so he's Swift, and he's got a crew of 5 more guys.
Great.
Bones, Bones. This is they should be singing around a burning oil drum. This is hilarious. Bones, Ace is from a 50s gang. That's hey, where's Ace? I don't know, but we're gonna rumble with the socias, and we need Ace. He's our biggest guy.
Bones isn't very original either.
No, but Ace is right out of the 50s. Jinx, which that's not really a good name to get.
No, it's the name of a cat.
Yeah. Moose, who I assume is a big guy.
He's
I hope.
Giant.
Or he's a tiny guy, one of the two. And Wimpy. And Wimpy's probably the baddest motherfucker in the crew, too. That's the funny thing about nicknames.
Yeah.
Wimpy's he probably kicked 8 guys' asses and threw a guy off a cliff, and they were like, damn, you Wimp, we're calling you Wimpy. Damn. He just killed everybody. That's kind of how you do it on the East Coast.
He's the one that carries the piece.
Wimpy? Yeah. Maybe, because he's wimpy. So he needs it. He doesn't have cartoon hands. So one time there was a thing, and we'll talk about this. Apparently, somebody threw. I don't know if Irving threw a guy or Irving was thrown. We're not sure which one happened, but I think it was Irving that did the throwing. Threw a guy through the window of Sal's Pizzeria in the neighborhood. So this is right out of do the right thing now. We got Sal's Pete. Danny Aiello popped his head out. John Turturro was yelling. It was a fucking disaster. So he said, sorry. Why is it only Italians on these walls? Why are there no pictures of black people on these walls? He said that he was just a rageful guy. He had rage from home, and his friends noticed that. He could pretty much whoop anybody's ass he wanted to on the street. And his football coach, he goes to Rancocas Valley High School, and his football coach, Bill Gordon, said, quote, "There wasn't anything that the kid couldn't do. He could play any position beautifully. I should have let him play quarterback. Stupid me, I didn't." So he's just athletic as shit. He can do anything he wants. He can throw, run. Yeah.
Big hands contribute to both of those positions. So the coach was right. You should have probably.
And he's got leadership qualities too, and intangible shit like that.
Yeah, because he's in a goddamn gang, James.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Well, that's how you learn leadership qualities. You got to learn them somewhere. If you didn't play football when you were in Pop Warner, you learned how to organize kids on the street and throw people through pizza shop windows. I don't know. He played tight end and receiver. And he also played center field for baseball as well. Wow. Because he's fast. He was scouted by the Philadelphia Phillies for being a center fielder, but he didn't find out about any of that until he was already in college playing football.
What?
And by then the Phillies lost interest in him because he was playing football. No.
Can you imagine?
He says, quote, "I'd have played baseball if I had known. I never knew till it was too late." So this whole career could have been...
Maybe the Phillies should have told him.
If you're interested in the guy, you tell him about it. I don't know why it's a big secret.
That's hysterical.
But a lot of times, too, if a team finds a guy, they don't want to say anything because then another team might find out about him, and then now you got to deal with that.
But let's tell the guy.
Well, if you draft him, you draft him, but he went and played football, so they didn't draft him. It was one of those things. They might, if he didn't go play football, they probably would have drafted him.
Maybe he would have gone a little harder, showed up to a practice or a tryout or something if you gave him any idea that you were interested.
Well, they look at him. It doesn't matter if he knows. They look at him and then they draft him or they don't draft him. But if he knew, he might not have played football. He might have. Okay. That's what I mean. He might have said, well, I won't play football. I'll play baseball if you draft me. But they just didn't tell him about it, which seems like bad. Or maybe they told his coach about it. So a lot of times they talk to the coaches, not the kids. So they, especially back then, maybe they told the coach about it. The coach told the other coach, and maybe they said, no, we don't. We want him to do it. Who knows what the fuck? You don't know what the...
There's something fucking awesome about him finding out after the fact.
Yeah.
They didn't even tell him when he was playing a game. P.S. There's a scout in the stands watching your game. I guess that's a good thing to do, not to tell him because then you might throw off his game. But
most of the time, the scout maybe would talk to the coach beforehand or wouldn't really, probably wouldn't even make himself known until afterwards. They'd just see a guy with a fucking radar gun up there and you'd go, oh, that guy's probably a scout. Otherwise,
I just feel like it would have been
really
great
bored.
After the game, pump old Irving up and tell him that a scout just looked at you. A Major League Baseball scout just came here.
I don't know if his high school wanted him to play football more. I don't know if they... Who the fuck knows? And honestly, who gives a shit? Because he played in the NFL for 15 years. So it's really the least interesting thing about this story. It really is.
I'm riveted by the fact he didn't even know.
Wait till you get to the good parts then. So... Because that is really a footnote. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. Don't get me wrong, but it really is not even half as interesting as the name of his 3-man gospel choir in college. That's the most interesting thing in the story. So he says in high school, but also playing football, he said that his high school coach, Bill Gordon, turned him around in life. Oh. He said, quote, "One day when I was a freshman and hanging out, Coach threw me into his office and told me I was a hoodlum and that I'd never amount to anything. No one had ever called me a hoodlum before, not even my mother, and she had called me all kinds of things."
Almost called you Chastity.
Oh, yeah. She called me Irving, for Christ's sake, but she never went as far as to call me a hoodlum. But Eileen said, quote, "Irving wasn't a bad child, but we were worried about the people he was associating with. I'm not sure he qualified as a hoodlum, considering he never broke the law. Actually, the most trouble he got into was being suspended for fighting in school." Well, yeah. And also, here's one. Apparently, like I said, I'm not sure if he threw a person through the window of Sal's Pizzeria or if he was thrown through the window. Either way, he had a slice on his forehead from glass that came through the window. So I'm thinking maybe he went through the window.
Okay.
Apparently, the guy tried to get away. Okay, he was trying to go out of the window that was broken. And Fryar says Jinx, his buddy Jinx,
right.
that's Tyrone Johnson, he says. He had a hook knife. The guy tried to go out through the window, but Jinx got him in the back.
Yikes.
Stabbed him with a hook knife in the back. He said, when I think where I am now and where I was then, I find myself thanking God all the time. There were a lot of nights I'd leave this house looking for trouble and it just wasn't there. Someone was looking out for me because I could be one of those ones on the street corner smoking dope. So that's what he says later on. He says, though, he was also didn't even know if he wanted to play football because he wanted to fly jets, he said.
He had so many interests.
He really did. He said, quote, I wanted to fly jets. I was going to join the Marines. I didn't want to go to school, but my mom said there was a free education and I better take it. And you listen to your mother.
Yeah.
Yeah. She said, are you out of your fucking mind? You're going to go join the fucking Marines? And when there's somebody trying to give you a free 4-year college education, you fucking, are you nuts?
And this was before Top Gun.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what he was. Yeah, it wasn't just from a movie. And his dad's like, my parents were sharecroppers. Go to college. Are you fucking nuts?
Stay out of the sky.
Yeah, I mean, not that there's anything wrong with being a pilot in the Marines, but you can do that after college. You can go in as an officer if you want. Yeah. You'll do a great, you know what I mean? Like, that'll be there. Right. They're offering you free shit now. Take that, and then you can go sign up for that. The Marines aren't going to shut down in 4 years. Like, oh, they're out of business, ma. Shit. I should have flew the planes when I had the chance. So he instead takes 5 different recruiting trips to different schools to visit. He goes to Maryland. There he goes to Pittsburgh, which Pitt was a powerhouse at that time because Dan Marino was at Pitt for almost the same time period he was there. Arizona he goes to.
U of A, huh?
Yep. Check out the Southwest, see what's out there. Temple, which is in Philly, so check that all out. And then Grambling, check out a historically black college down in the South there. So he went northeast, southwest, southeast. He kind of went everywhere. So interesting that. And he finally, though, he was deciding between them, and then he was kind of blindsided by an invitation to go visit Nebraska Cornhuskers, which was a giant powerhouse school at that point. More powerhouse than any of those colleges as far as national rankings on television all the time.
Great program. Yeah,
you want to be on national TV in 1980, you go to fucking Nebraska. So he said, yeah, sure, he did it. He went there. And he didn't really find much there from what he said. He said, quote, man, it was culture shock. That was my worst recruiting trip. I'd partied at the other places, but there was nothing to do at Nebraska. I knew that would be the only place I'd stay in school. So he decided, woof, those other places were a little bit too fun.
Yeah.
You know what? Nebraska's just boring enough for me to be able to pull it off. That's hilarious. You got to come here, man. It's boring as shit. Yeah, you won't get in any trouble. It's awesome. Nothing to do. Is that good?
You telling me that we're not the first people to be bored in Omaha?
Yeah, no, apparently not. Apparently he was very bored as well.
So boring he chose it for 4 years.
I'm taking fucking, is it in Lincoln?
What is that?
Isn't Nebraska in Lincoln?
Yeah, it's probably in Lincoln.
Either way, that's like an hour away. Who gives a shit?
It's
all
right
the
there.
same.
It's still Nebraska.
Yeah. So he said he never really considered. He wasn't even thinking about going to college until school started inviting him. He wasn't even thinking he was a huge star, by the way. He and Mike Rozier went to the same college. You know who Mike Rozier is?
Yes.
Running back.
Okay.
You will, because we'll do an episode on him because he's got he's got a crazy life. But they grew up together, and then they played at Nebraska together as well. Okay. And Mike Rozier, wow, very interesting story. Way more fucked up than Irving Fryar.
Isn't this about the time that that guy that played for the Rams was at Nebraska? Phillips?
Which one? Well, no, that's way later. Lawrence didn't get drafted till like 94. Yeah, Lawrence was there like 91, 80s. I think he came. This is like 79, 80 they're doing it.
Because he was in the Fiesta Bowl in the 90s. You're right.
Yeah, he played, he played way later. So, because he was there when St. Louis moved Remember that whole thing?
Yep.
Or, L.A. moved to St. Louis. He said that he, quote, I had no intention of it going to college until someone actually offered me a scholarship. He said that he'd like to play a wide receiver in pro football eventually, but he didn't care where he played in college. He says he didn't have any special hopes of playing for NFL teams, nothing like that. He didn't care. He said, quote, it doesn't matter where I play. I'll give 200% wherever I go because I'll get paid. So he's thinking about going to the pros once he gets to college later on.
Why don't you just say 100%?
I'll give 200%. I'm giving 200%.
I'll give everything I got.
That old gag with Tommy Lasorda. Was it Jimmy Kimmel doing it to him where he's like, give it 110%. And Tommy Lasorda just goes, can't give more than 100%. And he would just drop it in conversation because I'm giving 110%. And he would just go, can't give more than 100%. Like he would just say it under his breath, like I've said it 5 times and you're not listening to me. So,
I hate when people do that. It's like, no, you're not. You can't. It's not a thing.
No shit. So, anyway, goes to Nebraska. His mom didn't want him to go away to school, though. His mom wanted him to get a scholarship, but maybe go to Temple or something that's close by. Yeah, didn't want him going away. She's like the water boy's mom in a certain way,
Yeah.
She wanted him to keep him there. And he said, quote, and she didn't want me to go to Nebraska either because it was too far away. It was my decision, and once I made it, she supported me. So he wanted to give up right away when he got there, and she made him stay. She says, quote, he was only 17 when he left home, and there were some rough times. I told Irving that anybody can quit and don't do it. So he ended up staying there and staying at Nebraska. And 1980 season under Coach Tom Osborne, they go 10-2, Nebraska.
Great.
They were a powerhouse. They go to the Sun Bowl that year and beat the shit out of Mississippi State 31-17.
Wow.
In the Sun Bowl. This team, Roger Craig is on the team. You know him?
No shit.
Yeah, the longtime 49er and Raider running back.
Yeah.
He's great, Roger Craig.
Yeah.
He's one of the better guys not in the Hall of Fame, Roger Craig. Like, he's really
probably
good.
right. Yeah.
And he was a great receiver, too. That's the thing about him. He doesn't have like the rushing yards, but you look at like his versatility. He was so versatile, and that's huge in football. It's it's a big deal.
Player.
Irving this year, 11 games. He barely plays at all, though. He only has 2 rushes for 14 yards. He doesn't even play receiver. He plays like Nebraska had those weird, they ran the option on everything. So you would put like him out, quarterback would run out with a receiver, and that was probably a flip to the receiver is how that works. He didn't like Nebraska.
No?
No. He said that he wasn't sure he could stay there after his first season. He just was so homesick and bored. He said, shocking, right? Isn't it surprising?
You could barely take 2 days.
So I could not.
Surprising.
Yeah. I was fucking, I spent the first 6 minutes of the Omaha live show ranting and raving. Yeah. Thank fuck everybody was very receptive to it, by the way. I think that went extremely well, but wow, did they, because no one was from there. They're all from Iowa. They're like, yeah, Omaha does suck, and they were clapping and hooting and
we
hollering.
Can't wait to leave either.
Yeah, yay. Can we come with you when you leave? He says, quote, there were a lot more whites than blacks, and everything I did was different to the people out there. That's also regional. If you're from the Northeast and you go to Nebraska, you feel like you're on fucking Jupiter. Yeah. And it's not no fault of Nebraska. That's just their culture there, and your culture's different. But anywhere you go in the North, if you're from the Northeast, you go somewhere else, you feel really out of place. It's not the same. And I'm sure it's like that wherever you're from going somewhere else, too. And
the
my experience.
Vast majority, I would assume, of people that are not white in Nebraska are going to Nebraska for sports, and they are on one of the teams.
Maybe, possibly. In Nebraska, yeah, I'm not sure about the exact breakdown of Nebraska. He said, quote, I'd sit in the locker room and tell stories about how guys would wait in the high school bathrooms to beat up kids for their lunch money. They couldn't relate to it. He said, quote, I was homesick all the time. I just sat around and thought about how miserable I was. When I came home for Thanksgiving, I told my parents I wasn't going back. They had to practically beat me to get me back on that plane. They forced him. Yeah, his freshman year, he wanted to come home. He was done. He was like, fuck this. I'm not even playing. Like, it sucks there. I want to transfer. So instead, by the end of the year, he finds like a local family to be a part of, which this happens a lot in these schools like this. Somebody who's from somewhere else, and they only have like the dorm, and they don't have. They don't go home all the time. Their parents aren't always visiting.
Side. I got it.
Yeah, we get not a blindside relationship like that, but a real one that actually happened.
Yeah,
this is not
not some bullshit Sandra Bullock bought into.
No, not some more shit like that. That poor fucking guy. Every time they talk to that guy, he's like, "Yeah, block."
His fucking career.
We had a great game. No, his career was fine, but after every time they talked to him,
he only played like 6 years.
Yeah, but that was for injury purposes
was
and
it?
shit. Yeah, he had a bunch of injuries. He was like 6'7", 300 pounds. I mean, what do you want? Pretty sure he had a lot of injuries. But the problem is, after every game, he had to be like, "Yes, we had a good game. Yes, we're looking forward to the playoffs." No, that didn't happen like that. Let me explain the whole thing again. You motherfuckers.
No, I don't know Tim McGraw.
No. Tim McGraw didn't write a song for me. No, right. That never happened.
I wasn't even in the movie. They had somebody else do it.
Even though, I'm huge, but still, no hard feelings. Anyway, his adopted family is the Myerses. The Myers family, Gary and Cindy, and their sons, Greg, Jay, and their daughter, Michelle. And,
are you sure that's not the family from The Blind Side?
I was going to say, it sounds like an 80s sitcom family. Yeah. Gary's a stockbroker. Yeah. Sounds like a Family Feud family. James. Gary's a stockbroker, while Cindy is a homemaker, and their sons Greg and Jay are in high school, while daughter Michelle is off to NC State. Meet the Myers. He says about them, quote, "Cindy is kind of like my own mother. They're the best two women in the whole wide world." That's what he said at the time here. Apparently, the Myers sent him a letter of introduction during the summer before his freshman year at Nebraska. So I guess they see incoming kids, and I guess they're boosters of the program and all that shit. Yeah. Alumni, I'm sure. And as soon as he arrived on campus, they picked him up from his dorm and drove him to their home for like a home-cooked meal and a visit and all that to try to make him feel welcome. I don't know if they do that with all the kids from out of town or what. He said, now Irving said that the youngest kid was Jay, and he said he was about 5 years old then and was kind of wild, and he was jumping all over me. I wasn't used to little kids, but I decided that I was going to go with it. What else were you going to do? Stab him with a hook knife? He's a 5-year-old kid. Decided I'd go with it.
Shop? What are you talking about?
I almost threw him through the pizza shop window, but then I said, I'm going to be cool about this. I'm going to ride this out. Let's see what happens.
He's little.
I decided I'd go with it. He said that after that, he got used to it, and then he said he would start to play in the yard with them and have fun with them and shit like that. He said, even the kids around the neighborhood have gotten used to me so we can play and it doesn't become a big autograph session. They're not like the other little kids. They're more like little brothers, and I can relax and blend in with them. Because at first it was just, you're on the Cornhuskers. Holy shit, can we have your autograph? And then after a few times, the kids were like, hey, just, let's play. You want to play football with us? Rather than, annoying him basically with autographs.
Did he live with these people?
No, he'd come and visit. He lived in his dorm, but he would go there at night or after practice to eat dinner, and he was on Sundays they'd do whatever, go to church and do shit like they were.
This is fascinating.
It was basically his adoptive family, he called it. And Cindy was his second mom. So he said it was great. It was a short ride from campus too, so he could go there really fast. And he loved it though. Second set of parents, he was calling them. He said that he wouldn't trade either parents for anything. He said, I've got the best Lincoln parents of all. I'm always bragging to the other guys about them. Like the guys on the team that he has this great other family. He says right off the bat we got along real good. They didn't ask for anything. They do it out of the kindness of their hearts. Right. And he says they give me some place where I can get away when I need to talk to someone. I know I can talk to them. When I need to get some rest and not have to worry about being bothered, I can go there. So that's good. Gets them out of the whole hubbub of campus. There's got to be, I don't know what it's like if you're like a football player in a major university like that, where the football team is the end-all, be-all focus of the whole school. I don't know what that would be like. It's not normal. You can't just walk around and talk to people. This is not a normal thing, so I guess I can understand that.
But he wasn't playing much?
Not in this freshman year, no. But it doesn't matter. In Lincoln, Nebraska, if you're a Cornhusker, you are a Hall of Fame NFL player to those people right there. You get the Nebraska helmet. That's what every kid wants, you know. It's
There's a lot of keys to the city on that team.
A whole lot. He said, though, his old friends aren't having such a good time. He said since he's left, things are, he said, quote, they didn't listen to the coach. When he called them hoodlums, apparently they didn't take heed.
They were like, hell yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And your point, motherfucker? I'll throw you through a pizza shop window, coach. Let's go. He said, we had a lot of good athletes. Some were faster and better than I was, but they never did anything with it. And, that was that, basically. And he said, if I had stayed in the city, my life would have gotten worse. When I go back and see all my friends, they're either in jail or hanging out on the streets, or they're all dead. So, one of those, any of those things. 1981 Cornhuskers, they go 9-3, which in Nebraska is considered a failure of a year at Nebraska. They do finish 11th in the final poll, though, so they must have lost early and then beat good teams late.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify. In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
They end up going to the Orange Bowl versus Clemson, where they lose 22-15 in the Orange Bowl.
No.
That's not great for the whole team here. He plays a little more this year, though. 3 receptions, 70 yards, 1 touchdown, also 7 rushes for a touchdown, and he returns kicks and punts as well. So they're using him as just this versatile, athletic guy that can do anything. Wherever they need to fill him in, they fill him in. 82 Nebraska, they go 12-1, which is awesome.
That is amazing.
They end up 3rd in the country at the end of the year. Number 3, they go to the Orange Bowl and lose. Oh, they win 21-20. They beat LSU that year. So not too bad. Not doing bad. And Irving starts to become a big member of the team this year. Mm-hmm. Now you have to understand when I give you these stats that this is really good if you're a receiver at Nebraska. Yeah. Nebraska, the one year I saw, his senior year, I think they completed the whole season. For a team, they had 107 passes caught.
Really?
As a team for a season. In the NFL, guys catch that. One guy catches 107 balls. That's
they play 12 games, right?
Yeah, what do they play this year? They played 13 games this year. So with one's a bowl game. So 12 regular season games, yeah.
They don't even have 10 passes a game that they complete?
No, because it's all running. These are the most boring fucking games to watch. Every play is an option. Is he going to go right or left? That's the big mystery.
And 10 times they throw.
Yeah,
that they complete.
That they complete. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. So, yeah, it's like 10 completions a game. This year he has 24 receptions, which is a lot. That's like, 20%, over 20% of the team's receptions. Mm-hmm. 346 yards. He averages 14.4 a catch and he has 2 touchdowns. He also has 20 rushes, running the option, and 245 yards, averaging 12.3 a rush on those too. So he's a weapon with 2 touchdowns there as well. So he's becoming quite the weapon now. He likes Nebraska now too. He's starting to get used to it. He has a quote, "Sure, like it's slow life in Nebraska, but it let me get a grip on life. That's the main reason I went to Nebraska. There's not a whole lot of people and no social life." This is really quite the advertisement for a college kid. All you do there is go to school and play football, which is important to me. One of the goals I made when I got here was to graduate, so that's what he's trying to do. But basically, it's great. There's nobody... there's not even friends to hang out with. It's wonderful.
What he's saying is I have minimal distractions, and I'm taking football very seriously. But the way he's saying it is not good.
It sounds like one of the the good/bad town reviews on Small Town Murder, when it's a 5-star and they're like, "I do wish there was jobs here, and my kid's school has a huge crack epidemic, but it's just a beautiful town. Our main street could use revitalization." Like, this doesn't sound like you like it.
It's quiet here because nobody else lives here but me, but it's quiet.
Because everybody died because the well is poisoned, but besides that, it's going wonderfully. Now, let's see here. Let's let Irving give a State of the Union with an In Their Own Words. What do you say here? I think it's time. Let's do an In Their Own Words. In their own words, quote, "In the city, I was doing a lot of things. Nothing unlawful, but I needed to get away from that. I might have ended up like some of my friends who are in jail, hanging out on the streets, or even dead. Yeah, a couple of them are dead. One jumped off the Empire State Building. Couldn't handle a divorce from his wife or something. I'm not sure."
Wow.
One jumped off the Empire State Building. Did you see that coming?
Not even sure why. Just
even
went.
sure. He goes, "I'm not sure. I don't know." Shrug it off. Anyway, so... I love "I'm not sure" because he didn't even think to look into it. If your friend not just killed himself, which is bad anyway, I've had that happen and I looked into it. I know that. I wanted to find out what happened. But if your friend jumped off the Empire State Building, which is that's a statement. That's a
spectacle. Yeah.
I would find out what the fuck happened to Winky or whoever fucking one of his friends.
Why did Ace jump?
Why did Ace jump off the Empire State Building? That is a really extreme way to do that shit.
And did he hurt anybody on the way down? How did he get out so far that he could miss everybody?
You know what? Irving didn't really investigate that deeply into the whole thing. He doesn't know.
Sure.
I really should have cross-checked that with newspaper searches for people jumping off the Empire State Building to see if it was Ronald, fucking Ace. Somebody jumped. See if they gave a nickname for him so I could have known if it was the guy or not.
When he found out he didn't have some fucking questions, somebody just was like, "Hey, man, he jumped off the Empire State Building." No shit.
I'm not sure.
He didn't explain, so I'm not sure.
Piece of shit out of me. I don't know. I mean, you know how things go. Sometimes people jump off of big buildings. I don't know. Fuck. I mean, that's a pretty big building, so I guess I understand. He had to drive there.
Yeah.
And he's from mid-Jersey. That's like an hour and a half ride. He had to drive an hour and a half and then find parking.
On a subway, yeah.
Yeah, or either parking or he took a train up there. Either way, it's a lot of time to think about it.
He had to walk, and then he had to get into an elevator and go up 100 floors. How tall is that thing?
It's pretty fucking tall. I don't know
80?
exactly.
Is it 80 something?
It's not 100. Well, you don't know because it's got they say how tall it is, but then it's got the tower thing. So I don't know how tall it is exactly. So 1983 is his senior year, and they go 12-1 that year.
Wow!
And they go 12-1, and their loss is in the bowl because they go. It's a national championship game basically.
Wow.
It's 1 versus 2, them versus Miami of Florida.
How
at the Orange Bowl for all the fucking marbles? All right.
Yeah.
So he is. This is exciting. It's built up to this.
Yeah. And he went his freshman year. They went to a bowl. They went to a bowl game all 4 years, but they went to the Sun Bowl, progressively better bowl games and reasons to be there.
Yeah, well, they went to the Orange Bowl the year before, and now they're back, but now it's back for a national championship, and they're playing Miami. The problem here is, or not the problem, the funniest and most interesting thing in this entire story happens during this year. He puts together a trio of singers.
Yeah.
Of him and 2 other guys in college football who are all Americans. I couldn't find out who they were, but it really doesn't fucking matter because he's in the group. Do you know what they called themselves, Jimmy, this singing trio?
Jesus's dick and balls.
No, this is so much better. And that would be a good name, but this one is much better. Earth, Wind, and Fryer. Oh, the greatest fucking pun name or wordplay name for a fucking anything, for an improv group, for anything I've ever fucking heard. Earth, Wind, and Fryer. The name of this episode is Earth, Wind, and Fryer. There's no doubt about it in my mind.
Yeah.
Earth,
you don't know
Wind,
who
and
the
Fryer.
other two guys are, James?
I don't know.
They say it right there. They are Earth and Wind.
Earth and Wind. I believe Johnny Earth and Frankie Wind were in the band with him, and then there's Fryer himself here.
That's
and
good.
Their big hit is "Come On Baby, Light My Fryer," which is it's a cover, but still, they really do it up.
They do a great version of Great Balls of Fryer.
That's a really good one there. I like that one a lot. I really do. I like it. And to join the group, you have to really show. Yeah. You have to show that you're strong enough and you're man enough. They make you do fryer walks to do it. It's very difficult. You have to. It hurts, but you.
Did you ever hear their cover of Garth Brooks' "Standing Outside the Fryer," James?
I don't know that song at all, so that reference is lost on me. But I assume it's standing outside a fire or some shit.
That is
so
exactly
I
what
laugh
it is.
Good one. I don't know. I don't know Garth Brooks at all.
They also did a doo-wop version of Mystical's song "I'm on Fryer."
Yeah. The funny thing is they also covered Bruce Springsteen's version of "I'm on Fryer," which is it's a good thing too.
It was a mashup, James. "I'm on Fryer" by Mystical / Bruce Springsteen.
That's a really good mashup. It's like Run DMC, Aerosmith. I like that. That'll work there.
I want to hear that song now.
And I think this all of them, to celebrate the formation of this group, they all went to the movies to see Stephen King's Fryer Starter. So it was very good. Came out around this time, I'm sure. I had to think of early 80s stuff. I don't fucking know.
It's so good.
There's so many Fryer
This could go on for the rest of the episode and
for
never
everything.
Find out why Irving Fryar got arrested.
Never. It doesn't matter. He was in Earth, Wind, and Fryer. Does it matter at this point? I don't care. I want to know all about Earth, Wind, and Fryer. That's amazing.
It's the greatest thing that ever happened.
That's really one of the funniest things that's ever been in an episode of Crime and Sports is Earth, Wind, and Fryer. I don't know why it's so funny, but fuck am I happy to see that.
It really
and that wasn't in like every profile of him.
No.
I read maybe 80 newspaper articles. I found it in one place. I'm like, are you kidding me? Wow. What the fuck? That's all I would talk about. Wait a second. Yeah. Never mind the national championship game. Tell me about Earth, Wind, and Fryer again. That's hilarious. I need to know more.
They could even sing Johnny Cash's "Ring of Fryer." It's so
Ring
good.
Of Fryer, that would be a good one. Yeah, I think they do, as a matter of fact. So 1983, Nebraska, like we said, that year when they go to the Orange Bowl, and we'll find out about the Orange Bowl because I didn't say who won yet. Well, I did because I said they lost, but I'll tell you how it happened. He plays in 12 games, 40 receptions, which there was, I think, 107 by the whole team that year. So he had basically 40% of his team's catches, 780 yards, averages 19.5 per reception, which is excellent, and 8 touchdowns, as well as 23 rushes, 318 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So he's cranking. He's
on Fryer.
He's on Fryer. Now, he says later on that, quote, this is about the Orange Bowl. Quote, they always remember that misplay. This is what his mother said. They never remember that. They never remember they scored 2 plays later anyway. It bothered him, I know.
Oh, damn it.
He dropped a touchdown pass in the end zone during the Orange Bowl, and it's like he's never lived it down. And the reason why he never lived it down, well, first of all, you'd figure the fans of Nebraska would never forget about it, but nobody does, because later on, there's a book that comes out called The Big Red Confidential, Inside Nebraska Football by Armin Katayan, the Real Sports reporter. Yeah. And basically, this is an expose on the Nebraska football program, because Nebraska is like this is the almost all-American clean program, and Tom Osborne, it's God and then Tom Osborne in Nebraska and shit like that. And they were like, no, they fucking pay players. They're just as shitty as everyone else. There's tons of them are on drugs. Right. There's people are taking money. There's all sorts of shit. Well, the accusation in the book from a source, I don't know who the fuck it was that Fryar deliberately dropped the pass in the Orange Bowl to try to throw the game or shape or whatever the fuck to try to throw the game. And so that persisted and never went away from him, basically.
Poor bastard.
That never went away from him. No charges were ever filed or anything like that. There was never anything about it, but that was just the accusation. I don't know if that's just an easy accusation because he's like, oh, gambling. He's a kid from Jersey. Maybe gamblers got to him. You know what I'm saying? Like shit like that. I don't know if that's what it was, or who knows what the fuck how it got started, but he, that didn't do well for him. Now, he's an All-American, consensus first-team All-American, but he also has problems. He also later on will admit that he was using cocaine all through his senior year.
Oh, shit.
As well. Yeah, I mean, his nostrils they'd be on fire, just burning. Just drip all the time. It was very bad, just like burning.
Hell yeah.
He was his girlfriend too at the time, I believe, said that he got high the night before the '84 Orange Bowl where he dropped the pass. So either, no matter what, people from Nebraska either think he sucks, he's corrupt, or he was so like hungover from doing coke all night that he dropped the pass. Either way, they were upset with him about it. Now that also, he has a problem then in March after the season, about 3 months later. This is involving a former girlfriend of his, not terrific, and this is Martha Florence. She's the one who said he did cocaine the night before the Orange Bowl, which, I mean, Martha. He was doing coke all year, so I'm sure he did. Who knows? She accuses him of breaking down her apartment door and beating her up.
Wow.
This is very bad. Fryar said, well, he had a reason for breaking in. He said that she had a chair of his in her apartment. A chair.
Yeah.
A chair, not anything, I don't,
like a
chair?
Folding chair or like a lazy boy?
I don't fucking know. A chair. Either way, it's a chair. Think about it. I guess if it's a lazy boy, you're like, that shit was like $600, man. I need it back. I don't know what kind of chair this is. A kitchen chair? I'm not sure why he brought his chair over to her house, but
they're arguing, James, and sometimes when you argue with your girlfriend, she will set your shit on Fryar.
That's true. Burn it right up. That's a good point. She's like, she's got
this poor episode is going to be butchered with shit.
No shit. So all right, let's not do it too much because we could really
let's try to be serious, James.
Let's try to get off the rails. We don't want it to be that far off the rails. The whole episode it'll be useless. We might as well set the whole thing on Fryar at that point. And then what? So
we'll just put up, James, just put into the feed Billy Joel's We Didn't Start the Fryer.
You didn't start the fryer. Irving did. It was Irving. Oh, man. And this is, I don't understand why he's doing this, too. That's the other thing. He's doing all this shit, and it's like, this is a guy who could church his whole life. Doesn't he? Yeah. No, he's not scared of fire and brimstone at all, this guy. Not a fear. Sorry. Okay. I swear to God, no more. No more. You can get out of hand. So he said, I was just getting my chair back. He said, she had my chair, and I simply, quote, went to the room to reclaim it. Okay. Sure. I don't even know what to fucking say about that. She claims later on she'll file a $20,000 civil suit also, where she claims that he broke in and then beat her and kicked her when she was on the ground. She says he broke down the door to retrieve a rocking chair. It's a rocking chair, Jimmie.
You have to be kidding me.
Let it go. Let it go, man.
Head over to Cracker Barrel. Pick up a new one. You'll be all right.
This is not the hill to die on. This is not the hill to get police involvement on.
I mean, unless it's the one your dad rocked in on the porch after a long day of sharecropping. Outside of that, you got no excuse over a fucking rocking chair.
My sharecropper grandfather carved it with his bare hands would be the only reason why this would be an okay fucking thing to go get. Otherwise, if he bought it at the job lot down the street, I think it's fine. So
it picked it up with a belly full of those fucking apples that they are good, but nothing else on that menu is any good.
No, it's terrible. It's all. It's just. It's there. I feel like it's that's one of those things. It's just there to. I almost think it's like an assault on people.
Yeah.
We could kill a good part of the population. You know, like we're going to find out it's like some Chinese-run population control thing to like keep us. We're going to find that out in like 30 years. Yeah. Keep people down.
They advertise it, James. They advertise Cracker Barrel that it's home cooking. If that's your home cooking, buy your mother a cookbook because that's shit.
That's shit. They advertise Golden Corral as food. So, I mean, advertising, you can stretch a lot. You can really stretch. It's a big stretch, you know.
They advertise it as edible.
It's like, it's like actual like human food that you can eat, you know? No. Let's be honest here. That's not chocolate in that fountain. We know better than that. Come on. So she claims Fryar threw her to the ground, causing a head injury, and then punched her in the chest, causing a bruise.
Yeah, that's not you can't do that.
He admitted to breaking down the door. He's like, I did do that crazy shit, which right away it's like, why?
Yeah.
Why? To retrieve the chair, but he denied hitting her. He claimed that she attacked him after he broke the door down, which, by the way, would be perfectly reasonable.
Right.
If someone kicks your door down, then walks through it, you can go ahead and jump on them and physically assault them. They have broken into with great physical force, broken into your place of residence.
They are looking for a fight, so go ahead and give them one.
She could have shot him, for Christ's sake, and it would have been fucking legal. Like, this is...
And this is in Nebraska?
Yeah, this is in Nebraska.
Yeah, I got a feeling their castle doctrine's pretty fucking strong.
Probably. So he claims she attacked him after he broke the door down, which once again seems perfectly reasonable at that point. And he said that he wrapped his arms around her, but she kicked him, and the two fell into the grass together like they were wrestling. They're having a wrestle out into the apartment complex grass.
Right.
He's an All-American.
And then the fight went outside. That's too much.
He kicked it down, walked through. She jumped on him. They fell through the door onto the grass and tumbled around wrestling. And this guy is a fucking, he's on television 2 months ago on a national championship game. He's charged with assault, trespassing, and destruction of property.
Yep.
Here, he ends up with a plea agreement later on where he pleads to misdemeanor vandalism, assault, and trespassing. But they dropped the higher assault charge and all that kind of shit there. And he's fined $150, and he's told to make restitution of the door, which is $100. The landlord says here. So then she sues him again, and she ends up getting no money though out of this. So I don't know what the fuck. Which it seems like if he admitted he kicked the door down and then there was any kind of scuffle, if she's hurt, that is all his fault. She was in her. Yeah. She's in her apartment. Like if he doesn't kick a door in, there's no physical confrontation. So that seems like that's his fault. But what are you going to do here? He ran a 4.340, and he's considered extremely strong. Also, as he's a little muscle, basically. He's got a 15.4 yard punt return average as well. So he's doing very well. He's also the MVP of the Japan Bowl.
Really?
As a matter of fact, yes, which they go to Japan and play over there. It's like an all-star. Yeah. His one friend, Moose, remember Moose?
Yeah.
Moose Robert Blades is actually a linebacker on the William Penn College football team he talks about. He's talking about, where his friends are. So one friend went and played. He said Jinx, Tyrone Johnson, is about to complete his military service. Oh, they must. He's already trained in hook knife stabbing very well, so I mean, he's good for combat.
That is a trained killer.
Yeah, he said, quote, "The rest aren't doing much of anything. They're living their fantasies through me." He says whenever he goes home, he sees them and realizes, I could have been there too.
Yeah.
He's not going home, though. He's going into 2 different drafts because 84, this is just a great time to be a football player because you have, this is like the early 60s. You have 2 leagues fucking fighting for draft
booming
picks.
Too.
Yeah, this is where you're getting money. The money shot up here because they're competing with each other. So great. And you have choices. Do I want to play here or do I want to play there?
Right.
So the 84 USFL draft comes first. And number one pick overall, Jimmie, 84 USFL draft.
Jesus Christ. No.
I love Mike Rozier. Mike Rozier. Which is an interesting story because it's all a big behind the scenes scam setup because he played. Long story, but basically they figured out that they could get him and sign him. So all the rest of the teams in the league gave them the number one draft pick so they could pick him and sign him. Brilliant. We'll talk about it in the Mike Rozier episode, but yeah, that's how they would do it because they wanted him in the league. But also Gary Clark in that draft, the wide receiver forever for the Redskins. Keith Millard, the longtime Viking defensive lineman, who in the book, the USFL book, they talk about Keith Millard bought his rookie year. He's huge, Keith Millard, 6'5", 280. He wanted to buy a Mercedes, and they only had one on the lot ready to buy, and it was like one of the tiny sports cars, and it was shit brown. He said like he needed help getting out of this shit brown car, and he said everyone on the team made fun of him like crazy, which is fucking great. Herschel Walker was signed this year, so the Generals didn't get a pick. Steve Young drafted by the Los Angeles Express here
in '84, huh?
Yeah, he's drafted by both leagues here, but the 84. He actually goes and signs with the Express, though. That's the difference. He signs with the USFL. So there's a lot of, Hall of Famers in here, man. There's a lot of guys in this draft. Gary Reasons, the longtime Giant linebacker. 1984 NFL draft, number one overall, Jimmie.
84, Jesus
Same
Christ.
year. Same year.
I was 3. I would have no fucking clue.
You obviously don't remember it, but maybe right. some hindsight. 83 draft was huge. 83 draft was John Elway, Eric Dickerson, Dan Marino, you fucking name it, Darrell Green, Jim Kelly, like all of these huge guys, even though Jim Kelly went and played for USFL. Huge
very next
guys.
Year was Don Beebe number one?
No, very next year, there's hardly anybody. It's like cleared out. Number one overall, Irving Fryar out of Nebraska.
Shit.
You bet your ass. That's what a weak year it is. A guy with 40 receptions is the number one overall draft pick.
This is the second time, right?
It's the second time a receiver's been drafted number one overall in the NFL draft in history.
That's awesome.
Number two is his teammate, a tackle from Nebraska, Dean Stinkhuler, which is my favorite name ever.
Oh, my.
Carl Banks to the Giants there. Let's see. Keith Millard also got drafted. Everybody that got drafted in the USFL was also drafted there. Wilbur Marshall's drafted that year. He was a great running back. Guys like that. Not a whole lot of. This draft is a weak draft. Boomer Esiason is the big star in this draft later on, and he's drafted in the second round by Cincinnati.
Good quarterback, stupid name, worst announcer.
Now, what the NFL does is they have a supplemental draft. This is to draft all the guys who signed at the USFL. Okay. So this clears out everybody's the guys who didn't get drafted because they signed in the USFL. So this drafts them. So that way, if they decide to leave the USFL or if the USFL folds, this is the team that will have their rights when they come here, essentially. Brilliant. So Tampa, number one, they pick Steve Young, who ends up playing for Tampa and then San Francisco. Mike Rozier, number two. Gary Zimmerman, the tackle for the for the Vikings for years.
And
the Giants.
Did he go anywhere else? Did he just stay there?
I think so. I don't remember. Doesn't matter.
Good,
Hall of Famer, though.
Yeah.
Hall of Famer. Reggie White, number 4.
No shit.
Hall of Famer. Yes. I mean, right away, Steve Young, Gary Zimmerman, Reggie White are in the top 4. So it's
amazing.
It's pretty amazing. So where is he going to sign? Mm-hmm. Nobody knows. They're asking questions, and one person that's close to him says, quote, "I'm under the impression that 4 or 5 different agents have signed Irving Fryar, but I don't know who they are, and I don't even know if that's really true." It's a mess.
Why does he need somebody?
He's drafted in 2 different leagues. He's got 4 or 5 different agents. It's a fucking disaster. No one knows who's actually representing him. No one knows if they agree to something. Is that him agreeing to it, or who knows? It's a mess, man. It really is. Patriots want him bad. The owner, Sullivan, said, "We had Irving rated number 1 after the season and wanted him. We see his signing as our commitment to our fans to put the best players out there. With Fryar, we'd have an impact player. We feel Irving would make an instant impact for many years to come." So they're
Is that
really
who drafted him? We didn't say that.
New England. Oh, yeah. New England Patriots drafted. I'm sorry, number 1. So he says he doesn't care where he goes. He's just going to play. You got to pick. So
right.
He says if it takes blocking, that's what I'll do. I like contact, and that's the way I've been coached since high school. Just go in there and throw my body around.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound good nowadays. That's
no.
Let's go in there and get hit right in the head.
But he also does that in apartments, fighting his girlfriend over a rocking chair.
Over a rocking chair.
Go in
Jesus
there and throw your
Christ. What a weird thing to fight over, man. For a 21-year-old kid to fight over. I get it. It was like 275-year-olds. Like, that's my chair that I watch Jeopardy in. No, it's mine. But this is not that. So he signs with the New England Patriots. He decides to go with the NFL. He has a guaranteed, by the way, this is way different. Nowadays, they don't even give this shit out.
No
but
guarantees. Yeah.
Back then, they had to because the USFL would give it to you. Right. So if he gets an offer from the USFL, then goes to the NFL and goes, you got to beat that offer or I'm fucking signing there. They have no choice. Right. And if New England loses him, not only do they not get him, but they lose their number 1 overall draft pick. They got nothing for it.
That's a terrible. That's a
it's
terrible.
It's very
plan.
risky. Yeah, it's super risky. So they end up. He gets paid his first year $225,000.
Okay.
His second year $225,000. Third year $350,000. Fourth year $450,000 plus 3 sets of bonuses over those 4 years that he'll get when he, at the beginning of each year that equal up to $1.4 million as well.
All of it together?
All of it guaranteed. Uh-huh. Yeah, all that guaranteed. And they also are giving him an interest-free, this was another big thing they do back then. This was because the tax rate for high income over like $1 million was a lot higher. So they would give like bullshit, basically. They would do deferred or they would do a quote, interest-free loan is how they would do it. So they basically give you the money and you wouldn't have to pay taxes on it because it's a loan. So and actually you're, different story. So this loan is to be repaid in 10 years from his deferred bonus money. So they have set aside bonus money that will just pay that back. So it's $750,000 that's interest-free loan that he doesn't have to pay back because they just take it out of his quote deferred bonus money. So it's all set up basically so he has a less tax burden. That's all it is.
Beautiful.
So good for him. He said, quote, I don't feel like a millionaire, but I know I can build my mom a house outside Mount Holly, New Jersey, and I want my dad to quit working. He never thought I'd make it to the pros, so we made a bet last year that if I signed a contract, he'd quit work. Well, that sounds like he won both bets then. I mean, so if I lose, I have to stop working 2 fucking jobs? Wow, that's really tough. I don't know.
Also, he better slow down because $1 million does not go far.
No, even though that's a lot more money in 1984 than it is now, it's still not that much money.
Especially when you split it 3 ways like this. This is crazy.
Yeah. So essentially it's like a little like a $2.5 million guarantee is what he's got. That's, decent. He said that he wanted to reduce the stress because his father suffered a heart attack in the last year. So he said he doesn't want his dad out there working 2 jobs having heart attacks. He said, I told him I'd buy his cleaning business, and I got him to quit his other job mixing cement. My parents took care of me. They put up with a lot. Now I want to take care of them. That's very nice, I thought here. He said he never really adapted to Lincoln. He tried to make the best of it, but it was hard. He said, quote, I had a hard time all 4 years. The people were good to me, but sometimes I'd be so lonely I'd call home and my mom and my sisters would get on 4 different lines and sing church songs to me.
Oh.
And that at the Japan Bowl, by the way, he won a $600 doll for his gospel singing. He entered a gospel singing contest in Japan, and he won a fancy doll.
The prize was a doll.
A fancy doll of some kind that he still keeps. Years later, he still had it in like a case in his house. It meant a lot to him. So his mom is fucking thrilled with him, which, yeah, she has millions of dollars now. This is way better than, what's been going on. She was really fucking happy. She said, quote, I had to have someone pinch me when it was all signed. She said that she quit her job as a school bus driver right then. He made her. He said, you're quitting your fucking job as a school bus driver right now. She said that it was amazing, and she's so happy and happy for him, and he worked so hard and all that shit. So the 84 Patriots, they go 9-7.
Yeah.
They fire their coach halfway through the year, hire Raymond Berry. This is the Tony Eason, Steve Grogan Patriots.
Oh, my.
Steve Grogan had a neck that was about 6 feet long. It was the longest, weirdest neck I've ever seen on a human being. Very weird. Did not look like a quarterback.
That guy Glennon that plays for the Giants right now, he has one too. It is staggering how long a neck can
Steve
get.
Grogan, it's really like... It's really, really bad. You got to see it. It's and he wears like a neck roll, like a quarterback who wears a tiny neck roll pad thing. Have you ever seen that before?
And he does that because he's self-conscious, right?
Yeah, Google it. He's going to break his neck. Steve Grogan Patriots, just the most ridiculous looking shit you've ever seen. You're like, that guy plays quarterback like in the NFL?
Yeah, that is.
It's freakish, is it not?
Yeah. I mean, Peyton. He looks older. Peyton Manning is what he looks like.
Kind of, yeah, he kind of does.
And they got about the same length neck. His is a bit longer though. It is pretty fucking long.
It's fucking long, man.
And an Adam's apple like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Oh, it's so goofy, dude. It's the goofiest looking neck. That guy playing in the NFL. Imagine that guy with the 85 Bears defense bearing down on him. That's what happened in the Super Bowl that year. Wasn't great.
Yeah.
So he this year
his in the pictures that shows his neck roll, it looks like a neck brace. It looks like he just got in a car accident. It doesn't look like a neck roll.
He does not look like a football player at all.
No.
It looks like a bad Halloween costume that he didn't understand. Somebody in like a country where they don't have football bought it, and they're like, "This is what a football player looks like, right?"
The neck roll.
Ridiculous. So that's fucking so funny. Fryar plays in 14 games this year, starts 3 of them, 11 receptions, 164 yards, and 1 touchdown. So he's a rookie. They're working him in. Yeah. Now, during the season, he meets a young lady. Named Jacqueline, but goes by Jackie. Jackie is a former cheerleader for the Boston Breakers of the USFL.
Ooh.
So, yeah, Jackie is something... Irvin's real interested in Jackie.
Yeah.
It's he's saying, he's getting his heart just, a Fryer over the whole thing. Sorry.
She's a real firecracker.
Yeah, you can tell. So he was introduced to her by the Patriots owner's secretary, a woman named Catherine Kennedy. She was a close friend of hers, Jackie Cooper, introduced her to Fryar. And they ended up getting married later on. We'll talk about that. But at the game November 10th, Fryar returned a punt for a touchdown, 77 yards. And he went down to the edge of the field and went and kneeled before her and shit. Did a whole thing like, I did it for you, baby, on TV.
Okay.
It's pretty funny.
He proposed to her there. He was just paying homage to her.
Maybe he did propose because they were married 3 months later. They got married in January of 1985. So
I wonder if he did.
Maybe.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.
Have you ever gotten a message out of the blue? Maybe you ignore them. Or maybe you end up in conversation. Maybe they tell you about an amazing offer.
I can really show you how to make some money.
And maybe that gets you into a lot of trouble. But this isn't a story about people like you, the people receiving these messages. This is a story about the people behind the messages, on the other end of the line. Thousands of them, working in a micro-city built for scammers. From Wondery, the makers of Dr. Death and Kill List, comes Scam Factory, a new series about survival at the expense of others. Follow Scam Factory on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Scam Factory early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
1985 Patriots. This is a lucky, magical year for them until the Super Bowl, obviously. Yeah. Now, this year they go 11-5, and they get to the playoffs. We'll talk about the first two games first. They beat the Jets 26-14. Then they beat the Raiders 27-20.
Oh.
And then they have the AFC Championship game against the Miami Dolphins that year.
Oh, yeah.
Which that would have been the Super Bowl to watch. Dan Marino versus fucking the Bears. That would have been huge. That was the Bears' only loss that year, was against Dan Marino and the Dolphins. So to have that be that would have been the shit. That would have been the best fucking game you could think of on paper.
Everybody's
anyway.
Looking for it, yeah.
Yeah, and instead they're like, put that guy with the neck roll out there and we'll fucking let him. It was ridiculous. Didn't work. So now this year, he makes the Pro Bowl this year, by the way, does Irving. Has a good year. 16 games, starts 14, 39 receptions, 670 yards, 17.2 yards per reception, 7 touchdowns. And also his punt returning and kick returning is crushing this year. He has 2 touchdowns, 2 punt returns for touchdowns, including an 85-yarder. He's doing fantastic.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah. So he's going to make the Pro Bowl. He's doing awesome. Patriots, they win those first 2 games. They're going all the way to the AFC Championship game, Pro Bowl. It's all good. Grace. This is grace. Oh, yeah. This is grace. There's a hard cut right before that. And that's a pun, kind of, in the way. There's a hard cut coming up here. There's a big record scratch coming up here in a minute now. January 11th, 1986. This is before the AFC Championship game, a few days before. And I think a year and a day after his wedding anniversary. Okay? Or it might be on the day of his wedding anniversary. Not sure. Either way, he shows up at the football play.
Stadium?
Not the stadium. The words I'm looking for here is the football complex that they have. He shows up there, New England's, with a huge cut on his hand.
Oh.
A big slice on his hand.
Like
okay.
On his palm?
No, on his finger, that he ended up slicing a tendon in his finger as well.
Oh, that's not good.
Now, he says, they're like, how the fuck did you do this? And he says, I was putting a carving knife in the kitchen drawer, and I don't know, I wasn't paying attention, and I fucking just nailed it, just got it with my finger, right? So they're like, shit. He said, quote, I was putting this knife away because I like to help around the house. He's a good guy. Now, think about how different this is in the actual story. Because I like to help around the house. And I had the blade in my hand. The tip caught on the edge of the counter because I wasn't paying attention. So he said it slid up and sliced his finger because he went to put it away and whatever. So the Patriots general manager, Pat Sullivan, told him to go back to Boston, basically. Yeah, once they heard about the story, he flew down to Miami to play the game against Miami, and they said, no, get back on a plane to Boston. You're not playing this week. First of all, you sliced your fucking tendon. And second of all, go back there and take care of your shit back there, because you apparently have some shit back there. The Patriots release a statement saying that Fryar returned home, won't play in the game, to, quote, resolve some personal issues. And they said they pledged their full support and resources to help the Fryars. Okay. Now, see, there's obviously something that people aren't talking about at this moment, but the Patriots do know.
They're going to get him a bigger kitchen?
I think you can get him another rocking chair. None of the people of the Patriots would confirm or deny anything. And he says, this is the general manager, I made a commitment to Irving that I wouldn't talk about this until we can sit down and talk with him and his wife.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So, Jesus Christ. Apparently, what he called a kitchen accident was actually a heated fight with his 5-month pregnant wife.
What the fuck?
She came away with a bunch of bruises, and he came away with a fucking sliced hand. That's turned into a physical melee here, apparently. they're in some sort of domestic fight. We'll find out exactly what happened. He'll deny it, but she says this is what happened. He said somehow he sliced open the 2 fingers, severing the tendon on his little finger and knocking him out of the game. Also, his wife, he went to the hospital to get stitches, and his wife, right behind him, 5 minutes behind him, also checked in for treatment under her maiden name. So it wouldn't, she did it that way. Hospital,
fuck you way, or is it like? Is
no,
that like
it's a hide. It's hiding it, because they knew there'd be publicity. That way, he can say I went because I cut my hand, but you don't want her to have her name. But the hospital spokesperson confirmed that she had checked in for treatment for minor bruises, and she's 5 months pregnant. So you can take from that what you want. Quote, she was admitted at 11:34 a.m., some 20 minutes after Fryar's arrival. So they didn't even come there together.
Wow, they took different cars
to the hospital, and she was treated and released for bruises. She is 4 to 5 months pregnant and wanted to get that checked out. Very, very fair. So the Patriots, again, the New England Patriots announced today that Irving Fryar returned to Boston. Personal issues. We're not talking about it. We pledge our support. We have no further comment. Silver, silver, silver. Have you seen how silver we are? Have you seen Victor Kayam on TV with those fucking Remington with the goddamn razors? Look at his hair. Silver as a fox.
I had no idea that Irving Fryar ever did anything like this.
Oh, man, it's fucking wild. The coach, Raymond Berry, said, quote, I don't want to talk about it. There's no sense in talking about it. I don't want. What do I know? So finally, though, the story started to unravel a bit here. After some further questioning, Irving started... He said basically that now he'll admit there was a fight, but there was no knife involved in the fight. He just happened to cut himself while he was fighting with his wife. Just a coincidence.
I was loading the dishwasher, that's all.
Yeah, that's it. However, later on, he broke down and admitted to Sullivan, the GM of the team, that the knife wound actually came during the argument. And, it wasn't as innocent as he said it was at first. And Sullivan said, I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know all of it. When we knew all of it, I sent him home. I think the negative aspect of this on the team is self-evident, but I don't want to say any more. I made a commitment to Irving that I wouldn't talk about it. So the actual story, what actually happened was...
I am riveted. I can't wait.
Yeah, he took her out for her anniversary to a Boston restaurant, okay, a very fancy Boston restaurant. And told her that if the Patriots made it to the Super Bowl, he didn't want her to go with him down there. Now, there's 2 ways to look at this. Number one, guys party at the Super Bowl, and him and his teammates want to go out and party and do all that shit. Number 2, also, if he actually wants to concentrate on the game and concentrate on the whole thing, I could see that. Like, look, I don't need any fucking distractions. Like, this is important. It's the goddamn Super Bowl. Once it's over, I'm off for 3 months and we can fucking talk and do whatever. But I think it's more like we go out to strip clubs like every night during the Super Bowl. So, like, she's never going to let me do that. I think that's more what it was.
Baby, I need you to stay home because there is a Pussy Fryer sale down there.
It's it really is. It really, really is.
This is unbelievable.
She apparently, according to the report, became, quote, enraged, as one would imagine. Tell your wife you're not coming with me to go down there for 2 weeks to party.
The crowning achievement of the reason I play this game? No, you are not invited. What?
Nope. The argument ended up escalating once they got out to the parking lot, to the point where apparently there was some physical scuffling with this, and she pulled a knife out of her purse and tried to fucking stab him.
Oh my! I got news
5 months
for you,
pregnant.
Irving. This,
I will cut
marriage
you.
Is over.
This is awesome. He blocked the knife with his hand, and that's how he got the cuts. The knife went through the 2 ends of the fingers with his hand while she was trying to stab him in other parts here.
Damn it!
That's kind of how it goes. That's rough, man. That's rough.
And I can't say, it's hard to say he doesn't deserve it.
That's the thing. I mean, he was trying to be, but I mean, pulled a knife out and stabbed him? What are we, out of her purse? What the fuck are we doing?
I don't know. She's pregnant, James. She's got pregnant brain. She's not.
That's the other thing. Moment. She came in with bruises, so I don't know if he hit her before or after the stabbing. That's never been established. If he hit her and then she was like, oh yeah, motherfucker, I will stab you. You know, I'm pregnant. You don't be hit. That's understandable. But if she was like, I can't come, I will cut you. That's a little extreme. You can't cut someone because they don't want you to come to the Super Bowl. That's not okay. So
that is fucking amazing. I can't believe you said it.
It's awesome. So later on, he makes a statement to the press about the whole thing. And then later on, a week later, they talk to him again and they say, was this really the truth? And he says, quote, the truth has been printed in my statement. Not the whole truth, though, but all I want to say. So, in other words, no. No, not at all.
Just say no.
Come on, Irving.
Jesus.
What the fuck are you doing? So they talk to his teammates, which he's a Pro Bowl part of their team. He's their special teams wizard and all this shit. Now he's not playing in the AFC Championship game, which they could use him probably.
Yeah.
One of his teammates said, quote, it just sounded so bizarre. Yeah. I thought, how in the hell is a guy going to be that negligent a few days before the biggest game of his life? And they were like, what the fuck? That was when he hurt himself by accident. They thought that. Like, what a bizarre thing to do. And another teammate said, then I found out what happened, and then it made more sense because he said, this isn't the first time that these two have gotten into it, basically, is what the teammate said. He said, which it's probably not. They don't. You don't go from 0 to fist fighting and stabbing in a fucking restaurant parking lot overnight. You don't do that.
Dinner.
1 to 2. That's not the first incident of fucking a fighting between each other. Everything was bliss, and then one day I punched her and she stabbed me. Like, that didn't happen. Just doesn't happen like that.
And so they still have the AFC Championship game to go, or they already won?
No, they hadn't played it yet.
So they still have that game to go, and he's taking her out to a nice dinner to warn her, if we win this game, you're not coming.
Yeah, because they went out for their anniversary. Their wedding anniversary was then. So they went out for their wedding anniversary and said, hey, this game's coming up. If we win, don't think you're coming down there with me. That ain't happening.
Telling you 3 weeks ahead of time, goddammit.
Yeah, so one of his teammates said, quote, this is the third time they went at it. That's all I know. The third time. So I really feel that they know of. I really feel bad about this because they're crazy about each other. Crazy is the operative word here.
You betcha.
So the reaction from his teammates are pissed off, kind of. A tackle on the team said, all I heard is that he got hurt. All I know is that he won't be playing for us this week. Like, I'm not going to comment, but great. Now we don't have our guy. Ron Wooten, an offensive guard, said, we're more concerned for his family than him playing. I just hope it won't affect his overall career. You don't want him to second-guess himself as a person. Well, if he's punching a pregnant woman, maybe you do want him to second-guess himself as a person.
Yeah.
Second-guess that. But he should start thinking about his behavior. I can't empathize with him, but I can sympathize. As newlyweds, you hate to see that happen. If they were married for 10 years, sure, punch your wife, she stabs you. That happens after 10 years. But newlyweds, it's just sad. It's just sad, Jimmy. Where's the love? Where's the desire? Where's the fryer in your belly to love each other? That's what I'm asking.
I wonder what restaurant they went to.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Take her over to Panda Express and get some fryer cracker chicken.
Hopefully not to fucking what the hell's the place that made us liquefy our insides? Hopefully not
yeah, that was
legal
seafood.
Yeah,
boy,
hopefully not there. So Irving says, quote, I'm pretty much numb to these things, he says when they're talking to him. We're all human. I'm young. We've all made mistakes, and I'll make a lot more mistakes. Yes, you will. As far as I'm concerned, it's behind me. Okay. As far as he's concerned, he's good now. He doesn't even want to hear about it.
Yeah.
Why? What the fuck? So what? My wife stabbed me while she's pregnant, and I may or may not have hit her. What's the big deal? So they beat Miami 31-17, I believe, and then they go to the Super Bowl. And before the Super Bowl, it's now all the media on earth is there.
Shit,
and they can either talk about, the Bears defense being good, Steve Grogan's neck roll, or that dude's pregnant wife stabbed him last week. What do you think the fucking people are going to concentrate on? What do you think?
I don't know, man. If you can stand up and have a good enough defense to bat down a wife with a knife, I think that you're going to handle the Bears defense pretty well.
He's got good hands, obviously. He caught a knife, for Christ's sake. They're hard. So he said later on, by the way, during that, he reverses everything and denies it all now during a press conference. He said, quote, "I didn't beat her up and she didn't cut me." Okay, she beat herself up and I cut myself. Apparently, that's not what happened. Yeah, it's all that's. Dude, listen to what he says. That's not what happened. I'm not denying there was an argument, but what was in the papers, that's not true. That's exactly what he said. That's what he said. Yeah, like nope, actually, very real. So he will. He's going to be in practice. He's going to play again. And he said the NFL, the Patriots issued a statement saying, quote, "Irving and Jackie Fryar announced today that they are working to build a stronger marriage by resolving the issues which resulted in the domestic altercation last Wednesday."
Yeah.
And then that's it. That's like, it pretty much goes away. He said, quote, "I don't regret what I did. There were some things in the press that weren't true. Hey, you guys can't hurt me. A man's personal life shouldn't be public, but so be it. I won't be playing football forever." The hell does that mean?
Who knows?
I don't know. He denied that. He said, quote, "I think I let my team down by not being on the field to play. I think I did things the way everybody else would have done them. Everyone else would have gotten an altercation. You know what? I have 2 kids, and when my ex-wife was pregnant, she stabbed me both times. It's the second trimester. It's known as the stabby trimester. They'll just stab you for no reason.
Yeah.
You know how it happens. He says, quote, the statement also said, quote, "Fryar apologized for misleading the public with an explanation that he said was designed to protect his wife and himself." So
yeah,
there's that.
My ex-wife was bitchy and testy all the time, not just pregnant. You know what I did, James? I divorced her. That's what you do.
That's what you do. Yeah.
God damn it.
You don't start bobbing and weaving and avoiding knife wounds.
I did not wait for her to wield a knife.
No. So he says, but he says it's his personal life. He doesn't feel like it's anybody's business. He says, though, "But I didn't beat her up. She didn't stab me. And the lesson he learned was, quote, to stay in the house. It's brought my wife and I closer, and we've learned some things about life. In other words, if I try to go out during the Super Bowl, she will stab me. So she can now come with me."
Yeah.
There's an article this is wild, in New England about, they're mad that the press is reporting this, calling it an invasion of privacy. Imagine if Ray Rice punched his wife or girlfriend, dragged her ass out of the elevator, and people were like, "How dare they invade his privacy like that?" That was between a man and a woman in a closed elevator. There's nobody else should know. That's essentially what he's saying here.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, this isn't Fryar saying it. This is somebody else here. So he says, quote, "Fryar explained that he was only protecting his privacy, and that what went on in his home was no business of the press or public." Actually, it happened in it happened in public, so right. It's very much
in a parking lot.
In a parking lot. And he says, and to a great extent, Fryar is correct. An athlete's life off the field should be his own. But when something in that life affects his performance on the field, it's a different situation. Now Fryar's recovered from the extent of his injuries. He claims the accounts of his altercation are not true, but at this stage, his credibility has plummeted. The only thing for sure is that Fryar's return will keep the story alive for a little bit longer.
I didn't even know he played for the Patriots in the first place, James. So you're telling me that prior to me knowing who he was, he had his hand sliced and tendons severed, and he still was as good as he was.
Oh, yeah, they fixed him. It wasn't as bad as they thought it was, apparently. An ex-GM of the team, by the way, is quoted as Upton Bell, who's quoted as laughing at all this shit, and it's fucking hilarious. He said, "Here the team's going to the Super Bowl, and what's in the papers? You've got the Jackie Fryar, Irving Fryar domestic squabble, the Patrick Rambo Sullivan Howie Long fight, and the Sullivan family wondering whether to sell the team. I tell you, the Patriots are the greatest soap opera ever. I don't think any franchise has seen as much turmoil over the past 25 years and yet still made it to the Super Bowl. With the Patriots, it's always something."
Yeah.
And then they get real shitty. They get absolutely destroyed in the Super Bowl. This is an embarrassment. Yeah. This is bad. This is like the first like the first team squad, like their plane was late or something. Like
there was a lot of those games.
Looked bad.
In the 80s and in the 90s, there was a bunch
absolutely.
too. But
San Francisco
the Super Bowls
crushing
were just fucking blowouts.
Denver, Washington crushing Denver.
Yeah.
It was a lot. So they get fucking. This was especially bad though. This was a shit hammering. I mean, this was fucking sad. So bad they were just letting William Perry score touchdowns. They were like, who else we got left that's never scored a touchdown?
Coach, you played defense. Get in there.
Hey, punter, you ever score a touchdown? Pretty cool. Come on, we'll get you one. Meanwhile, they didn't let Walter Payton get a touchdown, who was there forever, suffered through the Bears being terrible, and they didn't think to let him plunge into the end zone. They gave it to Perry.
Don't worry, James. He'll make the Hall of Fame, and he'll have his mistress and wife sitting next to each other.
Right.
It's all right. He'll have his day.
He was pissed about that forever.
Was
he
he?
never got over that. Yeah, he was mad for the rest of his life about that.
That they put him together?
Yeah, that he was mad the rest of his life about the whole.
Never got a touchdown.
That he didn't get the touchdown. They didn't give him a touchdown. He's like, we were on the fucking one. Let me get a touchdown. I've been here forever. I want to score a touchdown in the Super Bowl. I've never missed a game for the Bears in 14 years, and I can't get a touchdown.
I am literally the most recognizable Bear ever.
Yeah, me and Dick Butkus. That's it. Yeah, and Bear Bryant, whose name is Bear. And Brian Piccolo and Gail Sayers because they had a movie, but fuck them. So Irving complains in the press that his coach played the wrong quarterback in the game.
Oh.
Wrong quarterback. Other guy would have been better. That's why the Bears won. No. What? They could have played anybody and they would have got stomped. He makes the Pro Bowl. At the Pro Bowl, it doesn't get any better. This is a week later. He's just getting over. He goes to Hawaii, take a deep breath. Fuck all this shit about my wife and my finger. And the Boston Globe runs a story accusing 6 Patriots players of drug use.
Wow.
And, of course, Irving is one of them, obviously. Clearly. It is Irving Fryar, Tony Collins, Steven Starring, Roland James, Raymond Claiborne, and Kenneth Sims. The Boston Globe reported that all of these men had admitted to Coach Raymond Berry that they had used illegal drugs recently and all this type of shit.
Well, who the fuck leaked that?
Yeah. Now, Sullivan said, quote, this is the GM of the team, said, quote, some of those guys have been in a program and they're not on drugs anymore. So he's like, this was shit that they came to me and asked for help, basically. So Fryar was contacted there, and he says, quote, the guys are taking steps toward getting the team cleaned up. I was one of the guys who voted for it. I'm drug-free, baby. Test me today if you want. My name shouldn't even be involved in this mess. That's what he says. I don't even get it. By the way, years later, he said, quote, I know I was dirty. I know I was filled with drugs, filled with alcohol, filled with lies. That's what he'll say later about this time period.
That's a solid quote.
That's a great. Well, he says it from the pulpit, so we'll talk about filled with lies.
Filled with drugs, filled with booze, filled with lies.
Filled with lies. No, it's Earth, Wind, and Fryar. There's no.
For sure. So good.
86, a son is born. He has a son. That's his wife was pregnant. London is his name.
Not bad.
E.N. London. Didn't name him Irving Jr., so that's good. 86, the Patriots go 11-5. They lose 22-17 to Denver in the playoffs. Okay. So there you go. November 23rd, 86, here's the interesting part about the season. Fryar separates his shoulder during a game against the Bills.
Oh, no.
All right? Now, instead of watching from the sidelines like everybody does, you come back with a thing on your thing you watch, or you go back in the clubhouse there in the locker room you watch on the TV or something like that. Instead, he left.
Jumped in his car,
took off, and says he was listening to the game and calling people on his cell phone in the car while he was driving. What he wasn't doing was paying attention to the road.
Oh, no.
So he took his Mercedes and skidded off the road on some sand on the side of the road there and hit a fucking tree with the Mercedes. Yeah. He said that he walked away from it amazed he was still alive. Yeah. He said that he didn't remember anything until, quote, I was at the second hospital. The second hospital?
Wow.
He said, I couldn't believe all the stories afterward. People searching my wife's purse, people asking whether I was alone. Well, I wasn't alone. The big man upstairs was in the seat next to me. Had to be.
Out of here.
Or else I wouldn't be. I've been by that tree since. There isn't a mark on that tree. That was a big tree, baby. A big tree. I don't know what. He's saying that God healed the tree and made the whole thing better. Said, never mind.
God put his hand in front of the car and crumpled it and left the tree alone. Maybe God was protecting the tree, not you, asshole.
2 weeks later, he's with his wife, who, by the way, is pregnant again. Or no, this is, no, she's pregnant again because the kid was born in the beginning. She's pregnant again. And a friend of hers, a man, ran into them and hadn't seen her pregnant. Knew her from when she was a cheerleader and said, oh my God, you're big as a house, because she's like 6 months pregnant. So Irving attacked him and punched the man in the face.
So red.
Beat him up in a hotel lobby.
Did you call my wife fat, motherfucker?
And gets arrested for it because he's an idiot.
That's a drunk man on coke right there.
That's just, that's a really, what'd you say, motherfucker? Like, hey, I was just, shit, we're old friends. I was like, damn, girl, you're big. I've never seen you pregnant before. I don't know. Wow, knocking me out? What the fuck is your problem, dude? Damn, he just was like, what, pop? In a hotel lot, like right in front of the Continental Breakfast. Otis Spunkmeyer shit flying everywhere. Nobody needs that. Blueberry muffins just flying all over the place. He said that he's been embarrassed and he's been in agony and he can't make it go away. The whole thing's just too much.
He's about to get sued.
Then he says he wants out of New England. That's what he says. Yeah. And then a week later he takes it back and says, never mind, I don't want out of New England. I don't know what I was talking about.
This is some drug-addled behavior.
That's what I'm saying. He said, when I say here, what I meant was, he actually said, what I meant was, he actually said those words. When I say here, because he said, I don't want to be here. Right. He said, quote, I don't want to be here next year. That's it. That's the quote they're going off of. Okay. So they're like, oh, he doesn't want to be on the Patriots. Then they go back to him a week later, and they go, so you still don't want to be here? He goes, when I say, quote, here, what I meant was, I don't want to be in the position of being laughed at and ridiculed by the press. Not, I want to be traded from New England. Is that what you got from that? Oh, no. That's crazy. It was just because that's nuts, right? Yeah. Just because I was in the uniform, you guys thought I meant like on the team.
I didn't want to be in this financial situation. I got to talk to my financial advisor and set up a 401k, maybe some retirement accounts.
I was thinking about mutual funds, but I'm not positive about that.
In a year from now, I want to be set up a little better than I am now.
That's all. I mean, it makes sense. They said, well, how do you fix that? And he said, quote, I don't know.
Yeah.
So
I haven't thought that far ahead beyond my clarification of my sentence.
Not positive. He said, I don't want them thinking that I want to be traded. I don't want to be traded. I'm not going anywhere. Coach Raymond Berry is the best coach there could ever be. Blah, 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 blah. Then he says that, quote, then during the afternoon, this was in the morning, by the way. Yeah. Then during the afternoon, they asked him if he was going to demand a trade, and he said, quote, I might.
I don't know.
It was 3 hours later. I might. When asked to explain when this sudden desire to leave happened, he said, quote, I've said more than I want to, and walked away.
I've said too much.
What? I've already said too much.
He said they could do that whole interview with Leslie Nielsen just like saying those quotes, and it would be hysterical.
Oh, my God. Oh, by the way, he suffered a concussion in the car accident also. Pretty good concussion. That's why he didn't remember shit. He was hospitalized for 3 days for that, which is a good concussion. Yeah. He said, I'm lying in the hospital half dead and the Boston press is making jokes about me. I don't need this in my life. And later he said, I just don't want to say anything about anybody about anything anymore. That was his exact quote. Since I got out of the hospital, I hadn't talked to anybody. He is out of his fucking mind. That's wild. So he's mad. That year, 13 games started out of 14 games played, 43 receptions, career high, 737 yards, career high, 17.1 per catch, which is right what he had last year.
They knocked the shit into him.
That's good, yeah. 6 touchdowns. He can play. Dude can play, period. Also returning some punts this year as well. Now, 1987 season comes around, training camp in the summer. It's a new year, and what do you think he is, Jimmy?
He's good now.
He is good now.
Yeah.
Part 1.
Yeah.
Part 1. There's going to be a lot of good nows, by the way. He's with his pregnant wife again, holding hands with her and all this. They pump the kids out. They have 4 kids total they end up getting here. He's all about, he's all about getting his contract done and getting everything being responsible here. Yeah. He said it's a new year. The soap opera's finished. He said you can use that for the headline. That's what he told the press. No more soap opera for Irving Fryar. That's his headline.
Got it.
That's it. No more front page shit. No more TV shit. No more reliable sources. None of that shit. He says, I don't mind if my name is used to sell newspapers again this year, but I want it to be for the right reasons this time. Good press. I want to be in it for the things I've done on the football field. So. Yeah. You can get those stories if you don't get stabbed by your pregnant wife in public. Those are the ways that they won't talk about your personal life. Right. It's interesting.
You had a goddamn tree in your car and don't know anything that's happening until the Fryar trucks arrive.
Yeah, that's the thing. And then all the lights, it's very confusing.
Did he get a new car?
I assume so. He hit a tree pretty hard.
What do you think he bought? Probably a Fryar bird, right?
I was thinking about that. I was thinking about the Fryar bird. I really was, but it's possible. So he said, quote, you know what bothered me the most, though? The football. I know what happened to the other stuff, and I know what happened in the other stuff, and my wife knows, and we're the only people who have to know. The football, though, when you drop a pass in front of 80,000 people, it's right out there for everybody to see. Coming off the Super Bowl notoriety here, he just wanted everything to be just right, and it didn't work. He said, I wanted to catch every pass that was thrown to me. Then I didn't. I dropped that pass for a touchdown against the New York Jets, and after that, everything simply snowballed. I started thinking that I was doing instead of just doing it. So then he got healthy after the accident, and he said he felt better. And he said, I always have these people telling me how great I can be. I figured it's time to see if they're right.
All right.
Let's see. So he's right. He's good now, everybody. Yeah. He's good now. The Patriots are silver as can be. They have his back. They go 8-7 in this year in 1987. This is the strike year where they miss like 4 games because of the strike and all that. November 6th, 1987. He is robbed and shot at.
Oh my God! Really?
Yeah. He's at the E.B. Horn jewelry store. And he was in the store to buy jewelry for his wife that night. That's what he said anyway.
Yeah.
If you get shot at while buying women's jewelry, that shit better be for your wife. You're like, honey, I was buying you jewelry. Weird thing. I was picking a beautiful necklace out for you. You would have loved it. I'm telling you.
You ever heard of a tennis bracelet?
Jesus fucking Christ. He said that he said the jewelry store guy said he's a good customer of ours and he was here last night. He just seems to be totally snake bitten. He was doing a nice thing for his wife. Yeah. What ends up happening is 3 guys try to rob him at 6:45 p.m. after he bought jewelry in downtown Boston. What he did was they tried to rob him and run away. He fucking chased them. He runs a 4.340. Don't rob a guy who has huge hands.
Yeah.
He's going to fucking catch you, especially if he's pissed. So, I mean, think about that. You got to be steaming. You're on Fryar. You're fucking losing it. You're going after him. He caught one of the 3 robbers, presumably pummeled him, and got his jewelry back. But the problem was, once he tackled that guy, those guys shot at him, and they fired 3 shots in his direction. One of them grazed his car, left a big chunk out of his, a chunk out of his car. He said it was scary, a whole lot scary. Yeah, you got shot at. Holy shit. He said he went home. He didn't report the incident for 6 hours. He said this is what I don't get. He bought jewelry. It's for his wife. Okay, great. Then he doesn't report it for 6 hours. Mm-hmm. But then he said his family was scared. Like they're going to come to his house and get him now.
Yeah, they don't have your address.
Then he went to the police at 12:55 a.m. in person.
Fucking 1 a.m.
I'm sorry. I don't buy. There is something here that's not being fucking reported. That's just ridiculous. If you're a legitimate person and a famous football player and you get robbed and shot at on the fucking street of the city for the football team you play, you call the goddamn cops.
In downtown? In the center?
In Boston, in downtown Boston. Fucking
people
ridiculous.
Are going to be looking for whoever did that in downtown Boston.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He had to flee the area, I would assume, because someone's going to report shots there. He says that he feels bad here because he says, quote, I seem to be the bad guy when I'm the one being shot at. That's why. That's the way the trouble follows me. He says that, quote, that it wasn't his fault, and but all that sort of shit. So it's not. It's like Fryar shouldn't have been there. That's what he says. It's like, oh, it's not his fault, but he shouldn't have been there. Why? It's a jewelry store. He goes, I should have been there. I was leaving a jewelry store. I can do that on my fucking night off. Boston police made no arrests, and that's what ended up happening. So
case still open.
They said, quote, he's a good customer of ours. That's what the store said. So there you go. He does play in 12 games this year. 12 games started, 31 receptions, 467 yards, 15.1 per catch, 5 touchdowns. February 16th, 1988. He is driving, okay? Yeah. He is stopped. He's got a 1988 black BMW. Very nice. Nice ride with those round headlights. Those are cool. Those were cool
two
cars.
Headlights on each side?
I think the two round, those 2 round ones on each side. When I was a kid, I thought those were like really cool. Like, man, those are neat. So he stopped on County Road 520 near Pemberton, New Jersey. It's about 11 a.m. on a Sunday morning. So he's not 3 in the morning. He's not out partying. There's not like 4 strippers hanging out of the car or anything like that.
It's 11 a.m. Sunday. That's after church. Could be
before. Yeah, could be before. The trooper, Thomas Burns, stopped Fryar's car for speeding and saw a large knife on the back seat sitting there. So he asked about the knife. They gave him the knife, and when he went in to get the knife, he saw a holster on the floor. And picked that out. He asked to search the car and found a loaded handgun between the front seat cover and the seat. The problem is here, the gun contained hollow tip bullets, which are illegal in the state of New Jersey at the time. Can't have those.
Massachusetts?
Where are they? Yes. No, they're in New Jersey. It's in New Jersey, Pemberton, New Jersey. And that's where he lives there. Yeah. So he was going there. And also in his trunk, they find a loaded 12-gauge shotgun as well.
Wow.
In the trunk. So
listen, the guy was just shot at, James. It makes sense.
At this point, he was just shot at. I completely don't blame him for packing heat at this point here.
Just do it legally.
Just, do it legally. You never know when you're going to have to Fryer upon a person who's attacking you. Just do it safely and legally. So he was charged with 4 counts of illegal weapons possession and released on $100 bail. Big deal. He also, a little while later, has another son, Irving Jr.
Of course he does.
It's it from now on, boy. It's all downhill here. September 88, new year, new Irving. Yeah? He's good now. Again. He's
Two
good
new
now.
Irvings. He's a new Irving, and his wife just gave birth to a new Irving.
And there's one. And he's good now because he wanted to be clear, but then he had the incident with getting arrested for hollow tip bullets and shit. Right. So he's like, fuck, now I'm good. The headline is, quote, volatile Fryer tries to change image. He said, I just want to be known as a good football player. You know Irving Fryar? Yeah, he's a good football player. That's what I want people to say. He's just like, please, I don't want to fucking do this anymore. I'm so tired of everybody asking me all these questions.
Wait till 2015, because I thought that in 2015. I didn't know any of this.
That's what I mean. He said, I've got to prove it to myself more than I've got to prove it to anybody else. I'm told I've got a lot of talent and I can do this and I could do that, but I've never shown myself. I've got to prove it to myself because I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, later that week, he gets a pretty decent speeding ticket as well. He's flying around but that's not a big deal. It's a speeding ticket, but it's just hilarious that if he says something, the opposite thing will happen 3 days later. It's going to happen. He's a fucking disaster. He's Jinx. Yeah. He should be known as Jinx, not his buddy. Shit. So, 88 Patriots are 9-7. He had 14 starts, 33 receptions, 490 yards, 5 touchdowns. 89 Patriots, 5-11. So they dropped from 9-7 to 5-11. No playoffs, none of that. He plays in 11 games, only starts 5 of them. He had some injury problems this year. Only starts 5 of them, 29 receptions for 537 yards. So he has more yards in 5 starts in 11 games than he had in 15 games the year before. Wow. So that's pretty fucking solid.
He went to the number 1. Yeah.
Averages 18.5 per reception now. April 22nd, 1990, his daughter is born. He has a daughter named Adrienne, and she has some really shitty medical problems, man. Really? This is so sad. Yeah, I feel bad for this fucking kid. She's just surgeries and and medicine and surgeries and needles, and
as
this kid
baby.
for her whole. It's just it keeps going. It's brutal. 2 holes in her heart and a valve missing she had, and 2 of her arteries weren't connected.
That, James, she was born and they did surgery right then.
Right then.
So
her heart was not together.
Yeah.
It was just like a half a heart. They had to put this together, fill that in.
Finish the work.
Wow. She had her first operation at 2 weeks old.
Poor thing.
2 fucking weeks. Yeah, she spent tons of time in hospitals, always in the hospitals, always surgeries. Oh, it's really sad. It really... It hurts Irving, you can tell. It hurts him. That's a bad thing. And the wife, obviously, too, Jackie. I mean, it hurts everybody. That's brutal. 1990 season, as if it couldn't get any worse. Things are going not great for him right now. As if it couldn't get any worse. The Patriots go 1-15 that year.
Holy shit. Did they really?
It was bad. They were fucking atrocious piles of... They were dog shit that year.
1 win.
1 fucking win. Dog shit. September 17th, 1990, this is kind of how it started, too. They were sucked anyway, and then they had a very bad incident, and that was terrible publicity for them in September of 1990. Then the national press got on them. This is when they made it so female reporters could go in the locker rooms and interview guys. Because before that, female reporters were not allowed in locker rooms because their dicks are out.
There's dicks everywhere.
There's dicks everywhere, and that was the thing, where that is an unfair advantage, where a male reporter can go in and get the quote and get all the shit ahead of time. The female reporter has to wait till the guy's got a suit on and leaving the fucking building to talk to him because she can't go in there. Now, that sucks. I think the way to resolve that would be don't let anyone in the locker room until they're ready to let everyone in, basically. Right. Everybody got their balls away? Okay, let the press in. But you can't, and I'm saying this, you shouldn't let the guys do it either if you're not going to let the women do it. But you can't have a room full of guys with their dicks swinging around and a woman allowed to walk in there and walk through that. That's fucking insane. And I don't want to hear anything about, no. A male reporter cannot walk into a fucking woman's locker room. They can't.
They can't.
They fucking can't. And if they did, hopefully someone would beat the living shit out of them. You can't do that. And it's the other way, too. This is your locker room. This is your fucking sacred area, and you got to worry about... You shouldn't have to worry about anyone of the opposite sex or any other sex who's not on your team seeing your cock when you're fucking trying to work.
More to the point, ridiculous. James, if you're going in there to get quotes, wait until they get out, because then they've collected themselves, calmed down, decompressed, and they've thought about the game. They need... You don't need you don't want a heat of the moment fucking comment. That's when...
Oh, you never want those. Those are the ones that sell anything. Those are the ones where people go, man, fuck that. Did you see that fucking ref out there? Bullshit. And the coach sucks and fuck my quarterback. By the time they've showered and put some cologne on, they're like, we'll try again next week, and then no one cares about that. There's no highlight of that. You don't get Ryan Leaf going, just fucking leave me alone, all right? Come on. You don't get that if you give him a little while.
Or TJ Ward talking all this shit about Cam Newton that's standing right behind him.
Yeah.
No, he's standing there. I'm sorry. I didn't know he was there.
So this reporter, Lisa Olson, says she was harassed by 5 Patriots in the locker room. She said at least 4 of them making lewd comments and daring her to touch their dicks, which were out when she walked in. Again, you shouldn't do that, but also she shouldn't be walking in there with your dick out. It's like, well, if you're coming in here, here's my dick. If you want it, then take it, because I don't know what the fuck else we're doing here. And that's, like I said, should go for male reporters, too. Just because you have a dick, too, you can walk in and watch me dry my balls off? What are we talking about?
Why aren't you daring that guy to touch it? That's funnier.
Yeah. But no one is allowed to go into anyone's fucking place. And why is it athletes you can walk in while they're still nude? And you can't do that anywhere else on earth. What the fuck is that about?
You want a question? Come over and sit on my lap while I'm naked and ask.
Hold on. I gotta lotion my cock up. It gets dry. Wait a minute. I get cracked skin. So 2 of the players were identified as Zeke Mowat, who is a former Giant tight end, and wide receiver Michael Timpson. Mowat's the only player fined. He's fined $2,000, admitted to a limited role, but said he said nothing vulgar to her. He said, and he took a lie detector test. He insisted on taking a lie detector test to prove his point. He said, quote, all I said was, you're not writing, you're just looking. He said, that's what I said to her, which was like a ball-breaking comment. Like, because she's got her face down, writing something down, which is also in the gaze of his cock. which maybe if no one was in there while the cocks were out, none of this would be a problem.
Yeah.
So those were the only two names to become public and all this shit. And it was a giant scandal, though. This was huge. Huge.
In what year?
1990.
Wow.
Every single late night monologue was just fucking jokes from that. I mean, they got ripped. Then a month later, October 10th, 1990, Hartley Dykes, yes, that's his name.
Yep.
Go ahead and write your own jokes in there. I'm going to leave it alone. As a comedian, you see the name Hartley Dykes, and you're like, wow, that's a lot of minefields in that shit. I'm not
Way too
touching
much.
that.
Yeah.
So, but Hartley and Fryar go out to Club Shalimar, which sounds Club Shalimar. So they go out to Club Shalimar. Irving's been staying home, he says, but with the daughter, with all the health problems and the kids, he needed a night to decompress. He needed to go out and decompress. So he's going out, have some drinks. Later on, Dykes would tell people that he and Fryar didn't even stop to hang out and drink and party. It was actually a business thing. They stopped by the club because he wanted to talk to someone about buying a radio station. They weren't just there to party, Jimmy. It's a business meeting. And Fryar later said they just wanted a night out. There's no radio station or anything like that. Anyway, it's a little after 1 a.m., which, as we know, anything that happens to you after 1 a.m. in a bar is just as much your fault, even if you did nothing to cause it. You're there, so that's what's causing it. He started arguing, Hartley Dykes, with some of the bar patrons about the Patriots. Why? Why would a player argue with fucking drunken idiots about the team? You'd just laugh and be like, bitch, I drive a Porsche. Fuck you. And you know what I mean? Yeah. You would kill your mother to wear my helmet for 5 minutes. Shut the fuck up. That's all you need to say.
Don't do that in New England. Don't do that in New York. There are certain places, Pittsburgh, there are certain places that you better fucking not argue with those fans because they are lunatics.
They're nuts. Well, he ended up outside with them fighting 5 of them. Hartley Dykes. They started apparently... one of the guys turned out to work there, and he's a 6'6" guy named William Early, who is on crutches with a torn Achilles tendon. But he starts hitting him with a crutch. Hits Hartley Dyke with a crutch, and everybody else apparently jumps on and starts stomping on Hartley Dykes, right?
Wow.
So Fryar comes out and sees this, and rather than jumping into the melee against 5 guys who have crutches and shit and clearly have an advantage, he instead runs to his car.
Pops the trunk on him.
He runs to his car, grabs his fucking pistol.
Oh, my God.
Puts it in his boot. What he said, but that's later on. He doesn't put it in his boot. All the witnesses say he came back holding it in the air, a chrome pistol going, you motherfuckers better get away or some people are going to start dropping. So they scatter away from Dykes because he's got a fucking pistol out. So then he puts the pistol in his boot and bends down to help Dykes. While he's doing that, somebody hit him with a baseball bat.
Holy
Irving
shit.
Fryar. So that's ballsy. So
you hit
anyway,
the guy with a
he put the gun. He put the gun away. So now's our chance. So they hit him.
I think that's crazy. It's
fucking insane. I wouldn't do it, but
no.
So anyway, Fryar said he tells police later on that he had broke away from the scuffle, being in fear of serious injury, ran to his car, got a gun, put it in his boot, and returned. But the police report said numerous witnesses said that he came back with a chrome-plated gun in his hand and was brandishing it and pointing it at people and yelling and screaming that he was going to shoot people.
That's assault.
Yeah, he got an 8-stitch gash from the baseball bat. He had to get 8 stitches. Dykes was hit in the left eye and hospitalized for a day. He later had to undergo surgery to relieve pressure that had built up in his eye.
Wow.
Yeah. Fryar said he saw his teammate bleeding outside the club, and he said, quote, I did what I felt I had to do, which was embarrass myself and then get knocked out by a baseball bat, which was complete. But he did it. He says, I saved the guy's life. What do you want? They could have killed him out there on the sidewalk, which is true. Mm-hmm. They end up charging him with carrying a 9mm Smith & Wesson. It is registered in Massachusetts, but they're in Rhode Island is the problem.
Yeah.
He faces a maximum penalty. Obviously, this is the maximum. It's not going to get this, but he faces a maximum penalty of 5 years in prison if convicted of this. And also, he and Dykes were both fined $1,000 for missing team meetings about the whole thing. So,
yeah, we're that's funny.
He said, though, this was rock bottom for him because no one came to get him out of jail.
Wow.
No one came for him. No one cared about him this time. He just sat there. And he said he sat there bleeding from a fucking wound to the head, and nobody gave a shit. He said the cops came in and got his autograph. That was nice while he was in jail. He said, but then they took their sweet-ass time finding somebody to put stitches in his fucking head. He didn't get stitches till the next morning.
That's not good either.
No, not at all. Bad for scars. And he said he was really miserable, and he was considering retiring. He even considered suicide, he said at this point.
Wow.
He said, here I was, a guy who was supposed to have everything in the world, and I had nothing. He says, no peace, no joy. I had absolutely no place to go. He was just fucking done. He's at the end of his rope. He needs a new start, a new something. He's miserable with football, even everything. And that's when the jail cell opens up.
Yeah.
It opens up, and who stands there before him? A man that can offer him all of this. It's Vince McMahon, CEO and chairman of the WWE. And he says, how is it you've come to arrive here? You beautiful, big-handed bastard. Look at you. Oh, God. Let's see. You got blood all over your shirt anyway. Let's take it off. Let's see what you're working with. Oh, I'm going to get this guy in some overalls. Oh, no. Wait. Put the overalls down.
Yeah.
Put them down, pal. We got another thing for you. I got it. This is it. What does everyone like? Who does everyone like? Who do the women go crazy for? That's right. The Fryarman. That's right. You're going to be Irving the Fryarman. And you're going to go, that way, no overalls. We're going to put suspenders on you. Yeah, those fireman suspenders. You're going to be the Fryarman, and we're going to put suspenders on you. And it's going to hold your fire pants up with no shirt on. And oh, God. Ah!
Every match he takes a shot of Fireball.
And Dexter's like, Vince, that is enough. Jesus, Mike, I am so sorry, Irving. I understand. He has just gotten, you should have heard him the whole way in the car. It's the fireman. It's going to be shirtless. And the women are going to love him, and the men are going to love him. I'm so sorry. Let's go, Vince. But he's going to be hot. He's going to hot like Fryer. No, let me stay. Poof. And Irving is very confused. And thinking maybe that bat hit him harder than he thought, possibly.
This has been the most fun ever.
I knew it. I could tell just from putting it together that it was going to be a mess because it's so much shit. So, oh, man. December 7th, 1990, he's got to go to court for a grand jury to talk about his gun charge at the Club Shalimar. Grand jury refuses to indict him, though. Really? They do not indict him because it is not a violation of state law for someone with a valid permit from another state to transport a gun through Rhode Island.
Okay.
So they were like, he wasn't living there. He was just whatever. And then they said he stopped. That's when Hartley Dyke said he was just stopping to ask about a radio station. So they were like, he was just traveling through and not enough to indict him, they said. So that's fine there. They also don't indict the guy who beat up Hartley Dykes with the crutch, William Early. He was on parole anyway, or probation, so they sentenced to serve the rest of his 18 months in state prison. Yeah. He's had all sorts of felonies in the past. He's just fucking
bad man.
So the 90 season, though, he plays in all 16 games. He starts 15. Wow. This whole mess. This is the 1-15 team. Catches 54 passes, career high, 856 yards, career high, 15.9 per catch, and 4 touchdowns. So he has a fine fucking year. It's the weirdest shit. These days are what's known in his world, in his parlance, as the mess. When he says the mess, he means these times, basically. He said there were days when he'd say to himself, quote, man, I'm going to wind up just like my old man. Going to die by myself. My kid's not liking me. And he said there were times that he wished he was dead already. He said he would wake up some days and pray, quote, God, why did you wake me up this morning? Quote, I have a name for those years, the mess.
Jesus.
He is in a load of shit. And all that, plus that shit with the daughter would really put you in your brain would fuck you up completely. And then if you can't do anything else right in your life, too, that might put you there. A few months later, though, he's got something else. He finds something. He's good now, Jimmie.
Yeah.
This time he means it because he found Jesus now.
Oh, boy.
Now it's time. He says he found God. He says, and I don't regret anything. I wouldn't be where I am now if I didn't go through what I went through then, is what he says here. So he was going. One Sunday, he wandered into a little church he had heard about called the Greater Love Tabernacle in Boston. He said it was a place where the choir could get a statue to dance. Well, that's how good the choir was. Ooh. That sounds like a good church. So not that any, but they can sing, some of these choirs. The preacher, they can wail. The preacher could make you shiver, and the voltage in the air practically blew out the windows. He said he was into it. He said church didn't mean anything to me before. Not when you'd see people act one way in church and another at home, because his dad was a church guy and none of that shit was real to him. He said this shit was different, though. This was a place he wanted to be in. He said the sermon by Reverend William Dickerson, who used to be an angel dust addict, he said. So, I mean, right away. There
you go.
Yeah, he said just before the choir broke out, and he said it was amazing. And he was the guy was telling people to come to the altar and give themselves to Jesus. And Fryar ran on up there with tears in his eyes, and he said, "I knew after the Hartley Dykes thing, I knew anything else I was going to do was going to turn to mush. I had nowhere else to go." He was wow. Yep, he said that Dickerson yelled, "Father, in the name of Jesus, bless this man and totally deliver him from all." And just then he put his hand on Fryar's forehead, and he said that it was though he had been blindsided. And Fryar he said his feet swung out from under him and his head hit the linoleum, and he began speaking in tongues. That's called your 12th concussion. That's why. Spouting all sorts of gibberish that nobody, including Irving, had ever heard before. He said it lasted a full 30 minutes. If you don't call the ambulance, if someone falls and hits their head and thrashes on the floor, saying incoherent shit that no one can understand for 30 minutes,
that's right.
They need medical attention. Yeah, this is terrible. This is scary. He said he finally
have your tax-exempt status yanked out from under you. You let that shit happen.
Holy shit. He said that Fryar finally got up off the floor, shook the preacher's hand, and that changed his whole life. He said, quote, "I wouldn't believe it if I weren't sitting here to tell you about it. I had the Holy Ghost inside of me. Jeez. I got the good Lord going down on me, down on me. I got the Lord. I got the Lord. I got the good Lord going down on me." All right. So he's got the Holy Ghost inside of me. I didn't see him coming, but I wasn't mad when he was there. You know what I'm saying?
That's called brain swelling, sir.
Whoa. Oh, wow. 1991, Patriots are 6-10. December 91 is a full year later. Another fluff piece. He is most certainly absolutely good now.
Yeah.
Fine, completely fine. It's called, this piece, it says, quote, "From Guns to God."
Okay.
He's just, he's into it now. It's God, family, and football. It's Bible studies, seminary classes, community service talks, trip to the supermarket and McDonald's, locker room speeches, non-alcoholic beer, and the best darn football of his life. He is just doing great.
Beer. The only people that drink that are a mess.
Have a lot of problems. No one's like, I just love the taste of beer, but I'm not a drinker. Just don't want to be drunk.
Nobody has ever bought O'Doul's because they were having a nice barbecue.
No one's ever bought non-opiate heroin just to have the sensation of jabbing a needle into their arm. That doesn't happen.
I just like the sting.
I just love the whole thing. I like to tie off, you know what I mean? Just cook it on the spoon, just throw it. I don't know, something about the whole process I just love. I don't know what it is. Oh, man. You light the Fryar under that spoon and really cook it up nice. He said the biggest thing people look at are the off-field problems that he had. This is a teammate of his. That was a big part of why things weren't going well for him. But now he's made a commitment to work his butt off, and he's seeing rewards for it. He said that he grew up. That's what it is. Irving said he grew up. He said some people it takes longer than other people. That's all. It was a gradual thing. I would go and I would slip, and I would go and I would slip. It takes some people longer than others, and I'm kind of a stubborn person. I was raised in the church. As a matter of fact, I lived right next door to the church in Mount Holly, New Jersey. I always knew what was right and wrong. If you raise your children that way, they will go astray, but they will only go so far.
Will they? Right. Some of them go so far they die, sir.
Yeah, BTK went to church every week too.
Yeah.
So, he said he recognized that he had a calling in life, and that he said that he's almost shy about his renewed faith. Doesn't sound like he's only writhed on the floor screaming in tongues for a half hour. But he said, quote, "It's just a spirit that's in me. I found a new direction in which I am traveling, and I'm enjoying it. There's nothing that's going to be able to hinder me or make me feel bad about myself. It's a matter of self-confidence I found with the spirit that lives within me." Good for you.
Good.
68 receptions for 1,014 yards. His first 1,000-yard season that year. 14.9 per catch, 3 touchdowns. So he gets more targets that year. Also, I think that's around the time they got Drew Bledsoe. So they got somebody who could actually throw the fucking ball at that point instead of Scott Zolak and all this other bullshit they had back in the day. Yeah. 1992, Patriots go 2-14. That is fucking terrible. He has 55 receptions, 791 yards, 4 touchdowns. So not too shabby. His career, it's working. 1993, he's traded.
Yep.
The Dolphins want him bad. Don Shula trades a second-round draft pick and a third-round draft pick for Irving. They immediately sign him to a 3-year, $4.3 million contract.
Beautiful.
So,
and he's the number one receiver there. He's a badass.
They go 9-7 that year. Problem is for him, Dan Marino gets hurt after 5 games that year, and they bring in Scott Mitchell, Steve DeBerg also, but he was terrible. He was 40 years old at this point. Scott Mitchell is the big lefty who does very well starting 7 games, filling in for Marino, so well that he gets a giant contract for the Lions and then is never even a fucking serviceable starter again his entire career. Fucking terrible.
Thank you, Dan Marino, for this gift.
Yeah, no shit. Doug Peterson is one of the backup quarterbacks, so I believe that's the coach now.
Coach
Doug
for the
Peterson.
Vikings.
Yep. Or Eagles.
Eagles now.
Eagles, I don't remember.
Vikings?
I'm not positive about that.
I don't know.
So anyway, Dolphins go 9-7 that year.
Okay.
This is the Terry Kirby, Keith Byers, all those guys that time period. They go 9-7 in 93, and he doesn't do too shabby here. He makes the Pro Bowl in 93. Starts all 16 games, catches 64 passes, 1,010 yards, 5 touchdowns. Has a fine year.
Yes.
The Dolphins vote Fryar their most inspirational player.
Wow.
That year, yes. And none of them have even heard him preach, but they can tell that he's inspirational, I guess. I don't know. He said he's becoming one of the most popular people in Miami, one of the most popular guys on the team, and 300 kids showed up for one of his sermons.
Wow.
300 little kids. He said, quote, "They come for the autograph, but they get the Jesus, too."
There you go. So, he's got himself It's beautiful. They call themselves the Fryar Choir.
Fryar Choir. This is a portion of his speech here. This is a portion of one of his sermons here.
Oh, boy.
All right, let's see. "Oh, yes, I know that one day I was lost. I was driving the bus straight to hell and taking a bunch of fools with me. Football did not save me. No, sir. No, sir. Football did not give me peace. No, sir. Football did not give me joy. No. Football did not put love in my heart. That's right. No. Football did not let me get off of drugs. No, it didn't. Football did not stop me from drinking. Tell it. That's right. But you know who did? You know who did? Jesus!" There is 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 9 E's in that Jesus.
Wow.
So I assume that's how he said it.
He is Southern preaching.
He's fucking preaching from Jersey.
Yeah.
But, not bad. So
that is impressive.
Shit sounds like it'll get you going, right?
Yeah.
He's probably good at this shit. '94 season comes around, and big article again. Another, he's good. He's a fluff piece. Now he's a big against domestic violence.
Really?
Now he's coming out. Dolphins warn students about domestic violence is the headline here. He warns it could affect your contract. Watch out. No.
Or your child's development while it's inside the woman you punch.
No shit. He said, football is football and home is home. He said, sometimes I'll take a drive or take a few deep breaths before I go home. I can't just come home in a bad mood and take it out on my wife. It took some practice. You're going to want to beat your wife. That's what he's saying. You're going to want to hit her. Now, everybody, who doesn't when you come home want to walk in the door and start beating your wife, right? That's the first thing I think to do. But I decided, no, if I take a spin around the block first, maybe I'll hit her later, but not right away.
Jeez, it took some practice.
Took some practice to not figure out how to hit him.
Took some practice not to punch.
What the fuck is going on, man? Took some practice. That was like the end of like my friend jumped off the Empire State Building. I don't know why. Like, I don't know. I'm not sure. That was just fucking casual as shit.
I practiced so hard not to punch.
I practiced catching footballs and not punching my wife. Jackie said, quote, he's the most amazing man in my life because I know how far he's come. He used to beat my ass. You have no idea. That's how she left that part off.
I used to have to carry a fucking blade to dinner.
In my purse to a nice restaurant. It wasn't even a bad neighborhood.
On our anniversary.
I still pack. While he was practicing, I was understanding how far he's come. So 94. This is amazing, is it not? How great is this episode?
What a life.
It's fucking crazy. 94 Dolphins, 10-6 under Don Shula still. Wow. Yeah. They win the wild card game against the Kansas City Chiefs. That, I believe, is Joe Montana's final game, if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe.
I think it was, or did he retire after 93? No, it was 94. No, that's the Chiefs. This is when he went to the Chiefs. Remember, Montana played for the Chiefs his last 3 years.
Didn't Steve Young play for the Chiefs, too?
No, Steve Young was concussed for the final time as a 49er.
The final time.
Yeah, I remember the play. He got hit by Aeneas Williams and never came back. Monday Night Football blasted him, and he was just like, so, I'll be in the booth from now on. So then they lose in 94 to the San Diego Chargers 22-21, and the Chargers went on to be beaten like 78-3 in the Super Bowl by the Steve Young-led 49ers.
There you go.
Who crushed them. I think he had 6 touchdown passes, Steve Young, that year. Crazy. He makes the Pro Bowl again, Irving does. 16 games, 73 receptions, career high, which is impressive at 32 years old for a receiver. 1,270 yards, career high. 17.4 per catch, which is second in his career.
Wow.
And then 7 touchdowns, tying a career high. So he just...
That 17 per reception has to be close to a record, too, for at least
great.
for the Dolphins.
Who know? I marked Duper and Clayton back in the day when Marino used to throw those bombs to Duper and Clayton down the sidelines. One of those guys probably averaged like 24 a fucking catch that year. Who knows? Now, more fluff pieces late 94. They come hard and fast.
Yeah.
They're talking about people are saying he believes people listen because he has traveled down the same troubled highway. Yeah. He said, oh, my God. Here's Irving, quote, I've been through the fire, I've been through the fryer, and I've come out as pure gold. That's what he says.
My.
He's pure. Keep in mind, what is he, Jimmie? Good now.
Yeah.
He's found religion. He's named himself Junior. He's moved back home. He's doing it all wrong, but it's working out for him right now, which is great. Anyway, Pro Bowl there he goes to again that year. He says at this point his sons are 9-7, and he says he will not let them play football.
Really?
He's decided. Yep. He says, quote, I don't want them to go through the same crap I went through. He says that he was waiting, he'll let them play baseball or go fishing with them and shit. Like, he's not going to fucking let them play football. He eventually does let them both play football. They both play football. Yeah. So, much like him, if he gets older and wants to play, you can't not let a kid play. So,
yeah, his mom almost cost him about $8 million. So, you know.
Well, it's not like you can divert their attention away from football. Your dad's a football player, so they see all the games if they're into it. What do you want from them? No, don't do that. I know it looks fun and everything, but don't play it.
Right.
95 Dolphins 9-7. They lose in the wild card round to the Bills 37-22. Irving has 16 games again, 62 receptions, 910 yards, and a career high 8 touchdowns. 96. He's good now again. Most fluff pieces I've ever seen on anybody for this man. The good Reverend Irving D. Fryar, they call him in this. Lord. He has earned a PhD from the North Carolina College of Theology.
Okay,
which
it's not a thing.
I think that's like Subway U or something. If they send you to learn how to maybe a sandwich artist or some shit, like the College of Theology.
PhD? Come on,
fuck out of here. He knows all that shit we made up. It's amazing. He just memorized it all. So he's talking about the past even more. He's talking about cocaine use, women beating, allegations of game fixing that he was so upset about, parties and guns and nightclubs and all this type of shit. And he said nope. He said he can't hide it though. He said, quote, "I can't do that. It's my testimony." That's it. The Reverend Irving D. Fryar. He said that he was, when he growing up, he was more inclined to go to a rumble than a neighborhood church. Oh. He said, "I'm a hard-headed guy. I didn't stay away from church, but my mindset wasn't then what it is now." So, yeah. Anyway, signs with the Philadelphia Eagles here. Coach Jimmie Johnson didn't want to give him a contract. This is when new coach came in. Shula retired. Jimmie Johnson came in. Doesn't want the old guys in there. He wants to bring his new guys in. 96 Eagles go 10-6 under Ray Rhodes. They lose 14-0 to the Niners in the wild card game.
Oh, no.
Yep. This is the Ty Detmer, Rodney Peete, Mark Rippon Eagles. Yep. This is getting bad here. Ricky Waters was their running back. He was really good.
Great player.
Anyway, this year he starts all 16 games, 88 receptions, by far a career high, 15 over his current career high, 1,195 yards, 75 yards off his career high there, and 11 touchdowns, a career high.
Doing great.
So, Pro Bowl, by the way. 97 Eagles go 6-9-1. He does fine, though. He has 86 receptions, 1,316 yards, 6 touchdowns.
Wow.
Killing it. Pro Bowl again for him.
Yeah.
98 Eagles are 3-13. They start to go downhill pretty bad there. That's when they draft Donovan McNabb and kind of turn it all around. This year, he has 48 receptions, 556 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Was he hurt?
Went downhill. No, he started all 16 games. Wow. Just think he wasn't targeted as much. He wins the Bart Starr Award.
What is that?
Bart Starr is if you don't know, he was the old Packer quarterback from the 60s teams that won the first couple Super Bowls, and he's known as one of the squarest men in the history of the world. He's just like very square. The Bart Starr Award is given annually to the NFL player who, quote, "best exemplifies outstanding character and leadership in the home, on the field, and in the community." Just not in restaurant parking lots. Other than that,
they conveniently leave those out.
Yep. Nominees are gathered from the public relations directors of each NFL team, and that's how that works. Is that
the Walter Payton Man of the Year award now?
I don't know if it is here. Let's see. The votes are tabulated. NFL sanctioned event hosted by Athletes in Action, the sports ministry of the Campus Crusade for Christ.
Wow.
Honors Bart Starr, and previous, like the year before, Darryl Green of the Redskins won. The year after is my favorite. Eugene Robinson won it.
What?
Do you know what happened to him that year? Wasn't he the guy who got busted with a prostitute right before the Super Bowl that season?
That's incredible.
So I think he won it, and then a week later got busted,
celebrated,
if I'm not mistaken. I apologize to Eugene Robinson if that's not true. Not that he knows, but Aeneas Williams, Trent Dilfer, Derek Brooks, Curtis Martin, LaDainian Tomlinson, Warwick Dunn, Kurt Warner, Drew Brees, Jason Witten, Aaron Rodgers, fucking Peyton Manning won it a couple times, Eli Manning, Calais Campbell.
Yeah.
Nice guys usually here. Yeah. So at this point, he says, "I'm retiring." Mm-hmm. So the Eagles give him a new Harley Davidson that he's wanted.
That's awesome.
As a retirement gift. Yeah, he rides it around the field.
Cool.
He said, I've been thinking about the last 15 years and the fact that I'm able to walk away. He said, my legs still work. Maybe I should leave now.
I can walk. Give me a motorcycle. Maybe I won't for 2 weeks.
Yeah, we'll see. Hold on. I don't want to wear a helmet.
Has he ever ridden a motorcycle before?
I don't know. He's wanted to, and he has time to learn now. He said, I'll probably just go sit it in the garage. I've got to check my paycheck through and make sure they didn't take it out. They said this was a gift. He said that to the press. They said this was a gift, but I'm going to make sure they didn't take it out of my last paycheck, these motherfuckers. That's hilarious. So he is most certainly good now, right? Yeah. He's definitely good. He decides, though, halfway through the offseason, he doesn't want to retire yet.
No?
Comes back and plays for Washington.
He got the motorcycle and came back.
I'm keeping it. They go 10-6.
Yep.
They beat the Lions in the wild card round, lose to Tampa that year in the divisional round, 14-13. I remember watching that boring fucking game.
Sounds like
Brad Johnson's their quarterback.
Oh my!
This Washington team. He only starts one game. Plays in all 16, only starts one, has 26 receptions, 254 yards, 2 touchdowns, all career lows for everything here.
Is that the year Tampa beat the Raiders in the Super Bowl?
That was 2000, 2001.
What year was this?
2002. 2002 that was. This is 99.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
This is when they couldn't get over the hump, Tampa, until that year. So he appears in Any Given Sunday, the Oliver Stone movie that season. Yeah, as himself, as Irving Fryar. So I don't know. He was probably just standing there. I don't know. No, Any Given Sunday, not.
That one. Yeah.
Yeah, the Oliver Stone one with Al Pacino.
Right.
And all that. 2000, he plays for Washington again. They go 8-8. He starts 6 games this year, plays in 14, 41 receptions, 548 yards, 5 touchdowns, and he will call it a career after that. Okay. For a total of, let's see here, 851 receptions, 12,785 yards, 84 touchdowns. Fine career. Borderline Hall of Famer. Yeah. He really is. He's one of the better guys not in the Hall of Fame. In 2001, he founds the New Jerusalem House of God as his church. 2009, named to the Patriots' 50th anniversary team. And also, his son London is signed as an undrafted free agent by the New York Giants as well that year. I don't think he made the team, but that's okay. Like haven't heard of him much.
No.
2014, things have been going great for about the last 20 years for him, right? I mean, you can't get any better than this. 2014, some bad shit goes on here. Apparently, he's been doing a little bit of a scam for a few years now.
Yeah.
Mr. Fryar. No, not even. Him and his mother, Aileen McGee, were involved in the scam here. Fryar and his mother were apparently applying for multiple mortgage loans in quick succession using the same property as collateral, so it wouldn't process yet.
Got it.
Which you can't do. Apparently, him and his mother provided false wage information on her loan application, saying she earned $6,000 a month as an event coordinator for Irving's church. That's a lot of money for a church's event coordinator. They also said that they just made a few payments on the 4 of the loans, and the banks eventually wrote the loans off as losses. Because this is from 2009. This has been going on.
Wow.
When he was, getting put in the all Patriots team or whatever. They went from bank to bank in December 2009 in a single day. Cornerstone Bank, the Bank of Burlington, and Sun National, and then went over into Philadelphia to go to the Beneficial Bank, all in the same day. Imagine that, a day of 4 different banks. I would fucking kill myself. I'd rather just get a fucking job. What are you doing? So Aileen apparently put all of her name on all the sign here tabs and closed on 4 equity loans that day, adding a 5th from a few days earlier, all using the same house as collateral, which you cannot do, obviously. And she also, on the signatures on each one, attest that she's not using the house as collateral for any other loans, which she lied about. Right. So the home she used was only valued at $140,000, and they used that to obtain loans totaling $700,000.
Wow.
Yes. During this, Jackie files for divorce from him after 29 years of marriage.
Really?
She took all that shit, and she's like, I am fucking done with this now. That's it. I'm sorry. And then she stabbed him like 4 times. That didn't happen, but 29 years of marriage, 4 kids. She's fucking out. She's done.
I'll date and marry somebody that beats their wife, but a fraudster? No, sir.
Absolutely not here. Now, I don't know if. Well, we'll see here. That's terrible. So now he's had all this great publicity. Now him and his mom and his wife. I feel bad for Jackie. She thought everything was great. Yeah. You know, imagine that after 29 years, and you thought you got him back on the right track, and you're what now? The FBI kicked in our door. What happened? Or the state police kicked in our door? I mean, I feel bad for her. I really do. All 4 kids. She's got the daughter that was sick and all that, but not nearly as bad as I feel. I don't know if this is him or not. It's Irving Fryar. It's in New Jersey, so it might be. Owner of Halo America. Sounds like it, right? Religious thing? Yeah. Probably him. And also his son, Irving Fryar Jr., who we'll hear more from in a second, is an independent distributor at Zija International in Kentucky. So the court here, Fryar's defense is that they were victims of a con artist who told him to carry out the scheme. That's what he said. Doesn't matter. Don't do it.
Did
you know it was wrong?
And said there was fraud on my Social Security number, and I had to pay the bill back.
This is a guy named William Barksdale, Avon's cousin.
Right.
He pleaded guilty the year before to a conspiracy charge, and he ends up being the government's key witness at the Fryar trial.
Really?
He's serving a 20-month prison sentence while he does it. Now, they say, according to the defense, they say that mom got no money out of the scam, and she actually lost her house in the whole thing, too. Yeah. He said, quote, she signed where he told him. She sent checks where he said. He sold her a house he owned. She moved in and found out 4 years later that she was paying a mortgage on a different house he owned. So, okay. So they both, McGee, the mom, and Fryar, face a maximum of 10 years in prison if they go to trial and are convicted. You can't do this. This is not good. And it's all easily traceable. They do say, the defense says that mom hasn't had as much as a parking ticket in her whole life. And, her going to prison for any amount of time is ridiculous. She's 72 years old. They said, quote, this is the lawyer. This is not a how long case. This is a jail or no jail case. Wow. What the lawyer said, they both reject plea deals from state prosecutors that would have put him in jail for 5 years and her in jail for 3 years. Okay. They take it to trial, and they are found guilty of conspiracy and theft by deception charges. It's all on paperwork. This isn't like, I don't know, it might have been him, it might not have been him. You went into a bank and signed your name on shit, and then they have your financial transactions. You can't get out of this.
All on the same
shit
day.
Ever. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. October 2nd, 2015 is sentencing for these people here. And the Attorney General says, quote, the fact that Fryar had the means to succeed and do good things and instead chose this criminal path makes his actions all the more reprehensible. You, sir, may fuck off 5 years in prison.
Wow.
And paying back $615,000 in restitution.
Oh, dear Jesus.
Now it's mom's turn.
Yeah.
You, ma'am, may fuck off 3 years in prison for mom.
Jesus.
They banged mom for 3 years at 72. They said she'll only probably do a few months because of age and all that shit, but they, whatever. He only does 8 months of 5 years.
Really?
They let him out in June 2016. He's got to get working to pay back $615 fucking grand. I bet he was wishing he could catch some passes now. He was freed. He's enrolled in the state's intensive supervision program. It's offered to eligible nonviolent offenders who are amenable to rehabilitation and have no criminal record. Well, I mean, he's definitely got a criminal record, but not recently. So he'll be regularly monitored for at least 16 months, subject to home visits, searches, and has an initial curfew for a few months of 6 p.m. And he will not be able to leave the state without permission.
For financial crimes.
Yeah. Irving Jr. here is busted in 2016 for this is first offense cocaine possession and tampering with physical evidence. He probably tried to throw it out. Yeah. He ends up being put on probation here that year, and then he apparently skips out on probation. We'll find out later here. 2018, even though he's out, he's appealing the judgment on his case. He's still trying to get it thrown out because he doesn't want to pay $615,000. State appeals court upholds his conviction, rejecting his claim that he didn't get a fair trial. 2019, he takes it to the state Supreme Court. Yeah. And the state Supreme Court judge rules that they will not hear his challenge. Told him to go fuck himself.
Write a check, sir.
Yeah, they gave no decision for reason for the decision, and he still owes $615,000. And also in 2019, Irving Jr., apparently it says on the record, I don't know if this is true, Irving Fryar probation absconded, and now he has a new supervision date because his old date ended in 2019. Now it begins in 2019, ends in 2022.
Wow.
So he's 34 years old and not doing great at that point. Can't get enough Irving Fryar?
No, I can't.
Wow. I know. I want more. You can get all sorts of Irving Fryar shit. There's a mini helmet signed by him and Neckrol himself, Steve Grogan, which is only $59.99. It's pretty fucking cool on eBay.
Yeah.
Patriots football. You can get any one of his team's jerseys for $79 signed with Irving Fryar on there.
$79?
$79. You got Patriots, Dolphins, Eagles, and Dolphins. That's it. All right. Yeah. They have a couple of cards.
Get it before he dies and gets in the Hall of Fame post-mortem because those jerseys are going to go through the roof.
They have his rookie card, his Topps 85 Topps rookie card here, $30 signed.
Deal. Yeah.
Not bad. And an 8x10 picture for $10 as well. Or buy him. Just get the whole Irving. Why just get a piece of Irving when you can get the whole Irving?
Yeah.
Athletespeakers.com. You can book Irving. His fee range is $5,000 to $10,000.
Payable
to hear him.
What? The state of New Jersey?
The state of New Jersey, yeah. Whatever bank he fucking took.
Yeah.
And also, he's also on Christian Speakers 360. And his range there, $5,000 to $10,000. He's not even giving you a break if it's a religious thing. Fuck you, I owe restitution.
And he's divorced, so I'll bet he's on Christian Mingle too.
Yeah, he's got all his bases covered, man. That is Irving Fryar, everybody.
What a story.
That, yes. Like I said, that's one of those where I'm like, this is going to be.
Oh,
I was, I'm up till 6 a.m, but I'm going, it's going to be a classic. It's worth it. It doesn't matter. It's worth it. This is a wild fucking story. This is just so much. He just fucks up the way he spaces it perfectly for a crime and sports episode. It's like a little football, a little arrest, a little more football, some more arrests.
Get it on the rails, get it off the rails, on the rails, off the rails, right into a fryer hydrant.
That's amazing. Out of the frying pan into the fryer. So, yes, Hunter Thompson used to always say, "The fat is in the fryer, my friends." Now,
I've had the most fun. This has been great.
I have too. I needed this, honestly, in my life. So if you like that story, tell the world. Tell us about it. Go on wherever you listen to podcasts. Give us 5 stars, whatever app it is, 20 stars, 100 stars. I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
Just give us stars. Do that. Head over to Shut Up and Give Me Murder right now. Get your tickets to live shows. Get your tickets to the virtual live show. It'll be Small Town Murder. A lot of people asking us, are you going on the road? Because I don't know if I'm going to buy a ticket if you're going on the road because I might see you then. We have no fucking idea what will happen between now and then. We don't. We have no clue, and we don't know if there will be shows. We don't know. We hope there's shows.
Yeah.
We want to see them.
They're
we want to
booked
go
at
to
the
shows.
moment. We'd love to do them.
Yeah, we'd love to do them. We'd love to make the money from 2.5 years ago that we're still trying to make. So that'd be wonderful. So yeah, we'd love it. But either way, see the virtual live show. It's going to be really fun in the privacy of your own whatever the fuck. So get that. ShutUpAndGiveMeMurder.com right now. Patreon.com/crime and sports. We have such good stuff for you, everybody, this week. So good for the crime and sports episode. And you get access to everything for $5 a month or more. You get access to both shows, the whole back catalog, everything like that. 4 shows a month. For crime and sports, we are going to finally cover the demise of the original XFL, which will be hilarious. There's wrestling. There's Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
There's football. There's just so much there that's so much fun.
Debauchery and greed and stupidity. It's going to be great.
We love bad ideas, too. Yeah. That's the thing. So anytime you have that, we're going to talk about some bad ideas they have. It's going to be so much fun. And then for the Small Town Murder Patreon, we have our favorite thing to do. We're going to do it again. We've done it a couple of times. The last time we did it was January because that was the end of the last season.
Wow.
So it's been, almost 9 months now since we've talked about Love After Lockup, our favorite show on television.
It's what a guilty pleasure. It's fan-fucking-tastic.
The great, and you don't even have to have seen it
No.
to enjoy our description of it. Trust me. explain it all and find out why Do Me is so funny, because it really is. See, every time it works. I get them every time.
So good.
So check that out, patreon.com/crime and sports. And in addition to that, you will also, you're a producer, so I think that earns you a shout out. We should tell you how much that we love you and appreciate you. So we're going to do that, and we're going to do that in just a moment. At the end of every show, you'll get a shout out. Jimmie will mispronounce your name.
Not every show, the one that you donate on.
Well, the one you donate on. You'll do shout outs every show. You don't get a shout out
every week. I do it.
Yeah,
it's just
he does it every week. And that's true. And then on top of that, if you just want to get the shout out and be a producer and feel good about yourself as a, as like someone who's contributing to something you like, and that's fine. You don't want to, you don't have to either, but you can go over to PayPal and you can drop whatever you want there using our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And we appreciate every goddamn thing you people do for us. Every one of you, every dime, every time you reference it to somebody else, it helps. Every time you say, hey, you should listen to Crime and Sports, an angel gets their wings. We'll put it that way. So do that. That said, Jimmie, I need to hear some angels get their wings. Give these people their wings, Jimmie. Hit me with the names of the finest people on the face of the earth right now.
This week's executive producers are Justin Miller, who hasn't been donating on PayPal within the last couple of years. I don't know. He just wanted to remind us that he's still here too. And
hi, Justin Miller.
I think he was a little jealous of Tin Can Dan getting so much press.
Oh, well, thank you, Justin Miller, and it's goddamn fine to have you back in town as well. Thank you.
Also, as usual, Jordan Bennett, Cynthia O'Brien, Shauna Hoops, Samantha Karyala. I think it's a J. I don't think it's Karjala. I'm sure it's Karyala, right?
I don't know. It's in front of you.
I'm a dummy.
You can wheel your chair over here. I'll take a closer look, but you're like 4 feet away.
This week are Spencer Westcott lost a family member and also had his birthday, and his family wanted him to know that they love him or her.
Well, most of his family.
Jesus
Christ. That was a good joke. Come on. It's a fucking... What is our show's about? Give me a break.
It's pretty great. But
that was a goddamn good joke, and you know it.
Other producers also are Alexa Hisman, James Martyr, Jessica Daniels, Krista Walker had a birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Kelsey Couts, Greg Robin, Jeff Bezos is a MILF, Ariane Cracchiolis. Nope, I'm not going to get that right. Senora Melanie Martin, who does not sound Spanish or Mexican. She could be, but she is also Ricardo Yarmillo's Heina, so happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Ashley Vio, Todd Robertson, Thomas DeMello is like Carmen Sandiego traveling everywhere this week. He is in Paraguay. Nancy Weaver, Frank the South African birdwatcher. That makes me laugh so much. My bang maid, whatever the fuck that is.
Frank, Always Sunny.
Oh, yes.
Can I bring my bang maid?
Yeah. General Booger Johnson, Janice Hill, Thomas Smith, Brittany Coffey, David Adlam, Tierji, Terhey, Thorson Holland. No, that's not. Yes. Mr. Cotter's mustache. That's pretty good. Andrea Martinez. Rabbi Shmulovich has an anal fissure.
No. Wow. You don't want that. No one wants that.
Heather Norton, Jennifer Ward, Jessica Finch. Happy birthday, Jess. She also made me a very nice eyeglass holder, James, with skulls on it.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you.
Maria Rasper.
Nice.
Jake Morgante, happy birthday. Monica Frickovich, what? Pixie De Leon, Scott Sullivan, Stymie, and Petey. That's from, I know them. Those are the our gang.
Where's Alfalfa?
Yeah, and also Charles Bird. And the rest of this, James, it's so deep. Victoria Mintkin, V. Conrad, Cole, Varela, Ryan Levitt, Jim Richmond, Sam with 2 M's. I imagine that's whore. Ryan Walkish.
Yeah, it's a whore.
Rebecca Gilbertson. Hannah McGrath. Robin Hall. Jacqueline Brothers. Patrick C. Brianna Kirby. Janina Kitamaki. Nope.
Wow.
Hope Rodriguez. Sophie Alderman. Dalton King. Kristen Reibelt, Anya, Olin Leon, Maddie Hensley, Axel Gessner. This is brutal. Frankie
Matt Hensley, like the skater?
Kelly, Stephanie Miller, Tamara Hoare, Aiden Hoare, Suze Barrett.
Quickly, somebody's name was HOAR last week, and we were like, that's got to be Hoare. And so we gave everyone without a last name of Hoare.
Forever.
So we're not calling you a whore. That's just the way the shout-outs go from now on. So if
Desiree
you listen for
Collins,
the first time.
Jasper Miracle, B1 Sauce instead of A1. Alyssa Hartzell, Corey Garner, Blythe Lee, Nikki Hoare, Brett Gobble, Rachel Zank, Matthew Rogers, Angel Sorrells, Elizabeth Longmire, Angela Hoare, Mike Anderson, Beavis McKenzie, Mark P. Parambo, Adam Hammond, Evan Hoare, Brittany Booth, Crystal Hodges, Mackenzie Kenzo 1127, Collison, Jean, Reed, Candace, Knots, Finn, Din, Yamouth. Okay, gotcha. Nuts.
There you
They're
go.
Nuts, James.
They're nuts.
Corey McFetrich.
I think I get it.
Every time though, it's never gonna end. I'm never gonna get those right, and I'm gonna do my best forever. Mansfield Fisher, Brandon Myers, Eric Pellerin, Stacy Quinn. Casey Sutliff, Junior Rodriguez, Mary Como, Janelle Rutherford. This is a fucking nightmare. Why is this so hard for me? Rutherford, yes, right? I'm not.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I've lost my goddamn place now. What did I do?
What did you do to you?
Kelly Howe, Tremaine Lastly, Christy O'Neill, Ashley Douglas, Travis Suter, Brooke Nichols, Samantha Garjala. That's right. Nick Poblocki, Gerald Ham, Fierna. Oh, Christ. Why is this so hard for me?
I don't know.
I'm never going to.
Names are hard. They're not words that your brain registers. So you have to.
Cortez, Amy Hoare, Nick Hoare, Catherine West, Christopher Schwartz.
God for the whores, Jimmy. That's all I got to say.
Evaristo Gutierrez, L. Andrew, Augustus, James. That's what I've always said. Josh Hoare, Silas Stevens, Joe Hoare, Brandy Hoare, Elizabeth Jesman, Eggplant McGee, David Gearsher, Tony Littles. What? Yes. Jesse Castor Vicicino. No. Lee Tran, Travis Lalonde, Elizabeth Celeste, Lindsay, Liz and Andy Hoare, Ryan Varela, K.O. Hoare,
the whores.
Ryan Daly, Hannah Stelmacher, Walker Hoare, Brittany Stoll, Rosie McKittrick, Bobette Smith, Roadworks, Nicole Pruitt, Proet. I can't tell if that's a O or a U. I'm an idiot. Andrea Taylor, Paul McMillan, John Twitty, Abby Amsel, Tommy Witcher, Miss Call Me Kevin. What?
Sure.
Mrs.
Hi, Kevin.
Susan Keok, Angela Veld, Jordan Watts, Marcin Hopkins, Rihanna. Nope, that's Raya. Braden Berg, Heather O'Donnell, Seffi Pondo, Tracy Bullock, Chris Salvin, Heidi Meyer, Aaron Simpson, Chris Brymeyer, Leah Hoare, Tori Hoare, Katriana Watt, Danny Watson, Steph Hoare, Christy Lavelle, Brian Kenny, Tommy likes butts. Good for you, sir. Amy Collins, Molly Therese, Sarah Yanakani, Clarissa Fuller, Michael Bouchert, oh boy, Kenzie Kniff, Brian Lumpkin, Brandon Smith, Alan Heath, Linda Keenan, Alex Dorian, Faith Bevington, Nate Atkinson, Christy Hicks, Nigel Weniker, Zachary Goudet, Tanner Grover, Beth Smith, Beth Williams, always slapping. There you go. Michelle Hopper, Carrie Ann Hoare, Brad Linder, Sarah Hoare, Tracy Annette O'Connor. Well, that's easy enough. We're almost done. We're so goddamn close. Thank Thank God. I can wipe my brow. Rob
Yeah.
Dean, Susanna GP, Brittany Marino, Megan Hoare, Janet Drennan, Brandon Thompson, Daniel with no last name. That is Hoare. Allie Bennett, Karen Lelm, Mike Worthen, Jamie Hoare, Rachel Howell, Shanna Hoops, Derek Tucker Stern, that Pete guy, and also we're going to say it one more week. Dan, Tin Can Dan is the fucking best. You guys and all of our patrons, you guys are fantastic. Thank you for everything you do for us. We can't do it without you. God's honest truth. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts, honestly. I mean, from the clouds of heaven to the friars of hell, you people you're always there for us, and we appreciate it. We really do. I mean, we can't escape for a second. So thank you for everything you do. And Jimmie, what if they wanted to talk to you, tell you things, whatever?
You can find me on the internet at Whisman Sucks. Where can they find you on the internet?
Oh, on the internet, huh? Yeah. Look at you, fancy Mr. Highfalutin internet guy.
Fryer up the Google, and you can find us.
Fryer it up. You can find me at Jimmie P is funny, or you can just, you know what, Google the show and look around for shit. I don't know. You can find stuff. You can Google. You can do it on your TV, even because you can get even if your TV doesn't have internet, just use a Fryer stick. It's not that hard. So no worries there. You're gonna be okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, honestly, for everything that you do for us. Look us up and find us that way. And live from the Crime and Sports Studios, we will see you next week.
Bye.
If you like crime and sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus.